What's good, y'all? Welcome to this episode of the HipHopHumboldt Podcast. It's your boy Dave, and I am blessed to do another episode, this time from, you know what I'm saying, this is the HipHopHumboldt studio here. I got GMG in the studio. What's up, GMG?
Yeah, what up?
Hey, man, I'm so thankful to have you here for this one. We've been talking about this for a few months, you know what I'm saying? And so, thank you for giving me your time today. Thanks for bringing me this clarity
Yes, sir.
here. You
Cheers,
know what I'm saying?
man.
Cheers. Yeah.
Yeah, man, your home is very nice. Very clean. Very, very nice.
Hey, thank you, fam.
Appreciate it.
Of course, I did my little quick tidy up before you came. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is.
I know. I do it myself.
But all my family's out of town, so there's not any kids. Making messes and all the animals and everything. It's nice and solid right now. You know what I'm saying? You came at a mellow time. It's a good time for a podcast.
Yeah, dude. I was like, what? Just you? Okay.
Hey, man.
Cool.
Sometimes there's the dog barking in the background and all
Yes.
this and all that, bro. I did one with this dude, I Love You Josh, a few months ago, and somebody right outside started mowing their lawn.
Yeah, dude, the timing.
Yeah, I got the, stuff to fix it on the audio, but whatever, it's all good.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, fam.
Yeah.
So the last time I had you on the pod was with the full-on Dirty Rats episode.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a good time,
That
wasn't
was
it?
so fun.
That was a good one, man.
Yeah, dude.
To have all the rats in the studio like that, on that round table, given the history. It felt like you guys were just like digging, the nostalgia, going through it all.
We were. We don't get together as much anymore because, the Cal lives in Oregon, Ocean's in Redding, and then even when we're here, you got me, D, Kush, and Wong, but our lives is just, they sometimes don't cross as much, because we don't really meet up as much at the studio, But we have a message board, right? And that thing fires off pretty much daily.
Oh, that's what's up.
And then
got to staying active.
Yeah, we got so much music right now coming and going. It's hard to keep track. They'll tell you the title of a name, and then, someone will say something about on the board there, and I'll forget what one that is because it's like they're really cranking them out.
See, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So now I know, I'm not trying to jump to one specific thing because, I know we're going to get on to a lot of different topics, but I want to make sure right now with anybody that's listening to this episode, you guys need to go check out the last Dirty Rats full release, which was 84 to Infinity.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Kush and Cal's album, or Cal's and Kush. Well, it goes either one way.
Yeah, it's fire.
Thank you, man. That's our latest release, really. I wish we usually have physicals, which I did bring you some. I know I brought you some before, and so I don't want to load you up too heavy.
Nah, I love having a ball, man. I love it.
They're at this point in where we're at in technology, they're kind of like coasters, kind of.
But it's more than that to me, though. For somebody that actually cares about the craft and cares about Humboldt County hip hop, it's something real.
For sure.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah, and so that album, the one you're speaking of, the 84 into Infinity, we don't have physicals. That's like the first one that's just on the digitals.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm an old head. I'm having a little hard time sometimes, not because when you come here, meet up with different people, it's nice to just hand them that CD. Chances are they probably, if they have a CD player, they'll probably pop it in.
Right.
Compared to when you're listening to Spotify and stuff like that, you can get sidetracked from all these other, commercial artists' albums dropping, and then, it's hard to get your stuff played sometimes.
It's really difficult, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like when you're thinking about it in those terms of like all the music that hits like the streaming platforms and everything like that, it's like a needle in a haystack kind of thing.
It is, dude.
And that can be discouraging.
Yeah, man, and not only that, but then you still have the underground stuff, right? That's maybe popular. Ours is local, but there's still underground that's way more popular than ours too. So you got the tiers of the commercial popular, then you got the underground popular, then you got the local kind of popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to get the listens, but I know we got really good music, and so the way I look at it is like we're just gonna keep plugging away. I mean, if you go to our Bandcamp right now, there's probably like 20 projects on there, for free to listen to or download.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it as like a treasure chest of someday, if someone really wants to tap in, maybe even a cult fan if you can cultivate that, right? Then they got plenty of music to dig into, so
That's it.
right
No,
now.
you guys have been doing a lot. Just me hopping in the last 2 years into Humboldt County hip hop, and then going back and seeing all the different albums and projects that the Dirty Rats have done over the years. We're talking not just dozens, we're talking dozens and
Yeah,
dozens,
there's a
if not
lot.
actually probably hundreds.
It feels like it could be, but I mean, yeah, it's we're blessed because we have the Sunny Wong, right? That has that artwork with with his flavor, and then that's half of the like the music is amazing too, but then the art's great. So it's like the two together, it makes us want to keep putting them out really because he's doing art, we're making music, he's also making music, so it makes it easy for us, I think, to put stuff out kind of in a way. That's the one thing we got going. There's many fingers of things you need to have going to really get pushing, but we have the making the music down pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with that, man. No, you guys you do beats, man, and one of the best beat makers around here.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
Hey, man, you got it, man. Like, I've heard your beats for a while now, and I love Dirty Rats. That's one of the things that attracted me to Dirty Rats music was, okay, like, it's got some dope beats under this, and these dudes can rap, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the Dirty Rats as a collective, when you bring in a lot of different talent, like, as as being the manager for the crew, you know what I'm saying, it can be hard to get a lot of different personalities to work together.
Absolutely.
But the Dirty Rats, it seems like everything, on the audience side that I'm coming from, it seems cohesive as hell.
It is. I think because we've been together so long that it's like you could not see each other, like say Wong, I might not see him for months, but then when we're hanging out, it's like a brother, like it's not hard. It's so easy to hang out with these dudes, like Kush. I mean, every one of the Dirty Rats is so easy to be around, and we've had other people in the past that aren't together and with us anymore, and it didn't make them not easy. But yeah, I think there were just changes in our lives. Obviously, we talked about in last episode, but yeah, these are my best friends, so it's like I'm pretty blessed in that standpoint of making music. Because yeah, when you're with a group of guys making music and you're having a head clashing a lot, it's hard to it's not fun.
It can be difficult, right? Like, I think about like the people that have managed the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And like, there was one lady that did it for a lot of years. You know what I'm saying? And she was just talking about how difficult it was, not to throw shade on the artists. It's just different personalities, all trying to do their thing, big egos. You know,
different times of their lives where they should be this and that, and the other person,
Exactly. Yeah. People not at their peak when other people are, and so that all the different things that go along with it. But you guys have stayed consistent. See, that's one of the things is like there's some crews in Humboldt County that have stayed consistent and are still around. And I'm talking two that I want to specifically point out: the Dirty Rats and the Humboldt Rockers.
The Humboldt Rockers, man. You talking about Rex, Reckless Rex?
Yep.
Rex Merciless?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Rex is a character, man. It's like one of the main characters of this area. You cannot deny it.
Yep.
Dude, Rex, man. It took. The thing about Rex is too is if you don't know him, he don't just let you in right away. Like when I seen him at shows, I knew he braked because I used to break back in the day when that's how I got into hip hop was living in Arizona. We lived on the border of Mexico there, and I was one of the only white kids in the neighborhood. They would all have their cardboards outside. You hear the music. People were having competitions and popping, and so I got in on that, just loving that.
Heck yeah.
And then the beats. That's where the beats thing came from. Is you makes you want to pop really good if the beat's really good. So
right.
I started collecting the tapes, and then that's what got me hooked was just the beats on all the breakdance and stuff, and so yeah, back to Rex is just that I knew I wanted to like be cool with him, but he would kind of be like kind of sunning me a little bit sometimes, like but once he let you get in with him, he's a really good dude, really cool dude, like,
oh yeah,
and he's just real talented with his dancing and good leader. Rex is solid, man. Rex is solid.
He's definitely a leader in this community. He's made breaking a educational staple in Humboldt County. There's all kinds of all the school districts around here, all the schools, they all know Rex, and they pull Rex to come teach to the kids.
Yeah, he's been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
He's probably taught like multiple decades of youth in breakdancing. So
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. No, you get gyms like that, crews that have, like you said, like the Dirty Rats, the Humboldt Rockers, you know what I'm saying? Like Fat Bowl crews.
Swizlo, I mean,
yeah.
That guy, he's been pushing since the get for sure.
And all the different iterations, you know what I'm saying? Now it's object heavy, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so, I love the scene around here and how everybody's, like the crews are still cruising, you know what I'm saying? The ones that, are, have been able to. Yeah, it really is.
It is, like I know Garth. I mean, I'm not really super close to Garth, but we made multiple songs together. He's come out over to the Dirty Rat studio when we did a lot of work at Cush's, and it was a pleasure to have him. And I know he's still, again, I don't know, I don't keep real close contact with him, but I know he's got to be still close with Swizz, and like everybody's only respect. So that's the cool thing is years and years that all these people has really not been. At least that I'm aware of, too many like big beefs, or
right.
So that's pretty cool for this area.
Exactly, and there's no need for any real competition, because like what are you mean? I mean, it's not like
It felt like it in the beginning, earlier a little bit, and often it was like, I'll even put it on us a little bit because like I said before, Potluck, they were the crew that you were like, damn, they're doing it. You're like, I love hip hop. Why aren't we doing it? And we were kind of making stuff, but we weren't doing that, like they were. So it makes competition a little bit. Franco was a really good rhymer, like amazing, and he would. Some of our first tracks he made a couple, not diss tracks, but just putting Potluck maybe a little bit in there. Didn't need to really, but that's how it is, right? When you know you're dope, Franco was super dope, dude, and he's just trying to let people know. So sometimes you gotta call out the best of the area to let it be known, So
facts.
That was kind of competition a little bit, but didn't get too ugly really ever, And
right.
They were doing lots of like away stuff too, they're on a kind of different level really, like. We were doing a lot of shows around here, but they were really getting out there and touring, and so
yeah,
we were like the little mice, hollering at them while they were kind of really getting at it.
You guys were still holding it down, though.
No, we were, but I just mean I have to look at it the realistic way, how it was, But now I feel like the people that are doing it are really open and it's like real supportive. Man, you guys have so many flyers with lots of not even the same people. Like, there might be 2 or 3 that are on this show, and then on the next show, but then there's like 5 other people that weren't on that show, and and it keeps us like staggering, and it's really neat because it just shows this area's just got so much hip hop going on.
Yeah,
when we were doing it more, there was quite a bit of shows too, but it was mixed in with a lot of the reggae shows, and it just seems lately, man, it's like the hip hop shows are just booming.
Yeah, it's quite a way right now. There's a lot of shows going on constantly. Like I just put a calendar up of like all the shows for, the end of this month and in August and then September, at least the ones that I've known, I get wind about, what I'm saying, and it's just almost every weekend.
Yeah, 2 of them sometimes.
Yep.
So that's really cool, dude. It's like, I know Callis, he's in Oregon right now. He's like, damn, right when I leave, you guys are making all these shows up here. Like,
it's Humboldt County's always going to be welcoming Cal. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. No, I think it's something that can continue on. For a long time. This area has something special. We all know it. With music, and if you're trying to hone in on your craft, it's like one of the best places. And so if we could get it to be now too, where not only is it one of the best places to hone your craft, but also like to perform it and be entertained. And then have the masses be more about wanting to be here, come from Reading to watch shows here.
Right.
It's possible, and maybe it's already happening, but
people are working on it. Like you actually hit it right on the head because so Juice, like I was talking about Eli from the Juice Box, that City Hippies manager, right? Yeah. So he's got a show September 8th where they're bringing some bigger acts from Reading out here. And doing a show, and then I think down the line there's gonna, do the opposite of that. Take City Hippie and some acts from over here, and go out to Reading and do a show, and that's how you start to cross pollinate.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. That's how it needs to go. We were there for a minute. Ocean was getting us some shows there, and we
shout out to Ocean.
Yeah, Mr. Ocean.
Yeah.
Mr. Ocean. That's my dude. my best friend, really, the one that's been with me since the day one, making the beats on the keyboard where they were not that hot, and he was still doing stuff with them. But yeah, not to derail from just the fact that we were doing some shows in Reading, and that we met some cool artists out there actually that are probably still doing it. I don't want to start messing up people's names, but man, yeah, I go blank when I try. I'm getting that old age right now, where
Hey,
like right
nobody's getting any younger.
when I'm trying to think of someone's name is exactly when I forget their name. But yeah, there were some dudes that were coming here a little bit. And we were going there. It was nice. Highway was definitely with us on some of those shows. He was,
Yeah.
again, this is probably like 5-7 years ago, but
Oh, okay. I was about to ask, like, what timeline, what time
yeah,
frame
about
was
five
it?
7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, one dude named was Morgan Rocky. He's pretty cool. We did some songs with him. Um, Another dude named Gravy, I think. But yeah, I don't want to mess it up. Like I said, I don't want to mess the names up. But Reading's definitely got some talent out there for sure.
No, I
A
definitely
lot of
agree.
hip out there. So it'd be cool to get more of a highway going between the both of us
I'm
shows.
I'm stoked to just hear, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, again, most folks know, right? I've only stepped into the scene in the last 2 years, so I'm missing a lot of history. So I'm just stoked to hear that there was some of that going on even like 5 to 7 years ago,
Yeah.
because that's got to happen. Because this is
Yeah.
like this whole Northern California scene, there's a lot of musicians and a lot of talent from Napa up. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
so, like, it's got to be people, we get behind this redwood curtain and we get kind of just
Yeah.
locked into it, and
Absolutely.
it's so hard to then at that point, once you get stuck in a routine, it's so hard to say, okay, I want to step out of the box,
Yeah.
step out of the
Yeah.
area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we when we really were hitting the parties and stuff pretty hard here for a while. We did start like hitting San Francisco. Gosh, I forget the name of some places like the Elbow Room, and we did San Jose. Johnny V's, I think was another. We were like getting out. We were kind of trying to go around the perimeters. Um, even like Willits. We did some shows in Willits.
heck yeah. Oh, down there,
Um,
and a lot of shows going on in Ukiah now.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't say we've ever done it in Ukiah. That's cool. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Is like the more we can just keep pushing it and just make it, because I think Humboldt sometimes it'll like really hit it, but then it'll kind of not necessarily fall off, but it's hard to keep consistent.
Agreed.
And
It's that Humboldt, the gift and the curse.
it is, and I mean, Dirty Rats is definitely a great example of that because even though we make a lot of music, I think the reason why we didn't really get to push as much, maybe doing like a tours and stuff like that, was because it's hard to get the 7 people all firing at the same time, and I can't even talk because even myself sometimes, like with kids in sports and
If
financial things or whatever, you can't just be
Right.
telling your family I'm gonna bounce for like a week and tour, barely make any money maybe, and then come back to the bills here.
right.
Yeah,
It just don't equate.
So that's the hard part. I think, for the younger guys out there right now, like City Hippie or whatever, which I was which I'd like to talk about that show that you did because that was just amazing. But that group I've seen around for a while. I can't say I know any of the dudes. I see them on the flyers. I see them doing the shows. I hadn't really caught a show, but maybe caught some footage. I definitely checked them out like on some of their maybe SoundClouds or different things, and I was like, oh shit, like this is top level of sound, like the
Mhm.
quality's top, and they got good melodies, and so yeah, I can, even though I say young to them at this point now, it's like they've been doing it for a while here, really. When
Yeah.
because I remember it must have been like or 6, I
Yep.
don't know, where I
Exactly.
had heard their name and they were all doing a lot of stuff.
That's exactly right. It's been like 6 years or so now that
Yeah.
they've been doing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So the young, young, I don't even know, what are the young ones, but that was like I said, doing that show with you recently. It was neat to see some of those acts.
Mm-hmm.
Man, like I told you when at first we were doing sound check, I was hearing some of them. Some of them had the vocals on their stuff, right? And I'm not hating on nothing, but that was sometimes one of the no-nos. At least when we would do shows and we would be on other bills with groups and they'd have their vocals on the stuff, we'd kind of be like, oh, here we go. Because a lot of them wouldn't even, they'd have their stuff in the back and they'd be walking around stage, 10, 20 of them, just not doing nothing, but just kind of just swinging towels and stuff, right? And we're like, oh, come on. Because when we perform, dudes, it's like it's stressful kind of because we have all these songs and you're trying to narrow down a set list and like, one dude's on 7 songs and you want to put a new song on there, and he's just like, dude, like my mind can't hold all these to remember all these lyrics, and then it was easy for me because I'm just the producer. I'm just like, I just want to get the beat in there, man. I know this beat's hot. I want to hear it, but so that's why for us it was hard to respect that sometimes, because we know how it's stressful, and if you forget a verse, your lyrics, sometimes it's just silence, right? Or you get the other heads in there that overdub for you, which luckily when you're doing stuff together a lot will work out. But sometimes it's silence,
Right?
And it's uncomfortable a little bit. So
yeah.
But I have to say, to go back to hearing that at soundcheck, by the time that show began, right, and then we can go down to every artist, like Ra was first, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if he had his vocals on there. I'm not talking to any one of them in particular, okay?
Yeah.
But man, he was just solid, right? He like all his music was slow, and usually for us when we're picking our show songs, like we're trying to only have a few slow, because you're afraid that the audience ain't gonna be, with you, right?
Right.
But dude, he had the audience on every song.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, and it was really impressive to see him have slow tempos and really just have everybody.
That crowd control, I mean, everybody's attention. No, I know.
And then Height was next. I hadn't
Albert.
seen him. Oh, Albert, I'm sorry.
No,
and he really, he had that Bay Area flavor kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
That West Coast flavor, that good vibes, that partying,
Yep.
And then he really got everybody up now too, because they were already involved with Rob, but now they're kind of they're moving around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Height came on, right?
That's right.
And Height, again, he was real nice. It was like, I want to say rugged, but it was just like, it was a little harder, but not super hard, But
Yeah.
man, he was really good too. Really good stage, performance, and good crowd presence, and yeah, I was impressed. And then by the time it got on to the other, like it just kept going. The girls next.
Eli and Mika.
Oh well, yeah, them, dude. I've seen them so much, and those guys are beasts, professionals. Like I don't know if anybody is uncomfortable on the stage as Eli.
Right.
Right, because dude, Eli's been. I remember him when he was little, right? This little dude, and he was like, for his crew, he was the guy that they would put on stage because he was so impressive, right? And he could freestyle. So if you're gonna throw somebody like, this is our dude, right? They would throw him on. We had Franco, who would battle anybody, and Eli stuck out because he held his own. He was young, and he had been on big stages. I mean, they were getting shows at Reggae on the River and stuff. Like, damn,
Yep.
Big crowds.
Yeah.
Which we were just could only dream of being on Reggae on the River, but yeah, so those guys were beasts. It was nice to meet Mika. I've seen him forever too, but never met him. Super nice.
Oh, okay.
Seemed super, super nice.
There was a lot of connections made that night.
Yeah,
man.
a lot of
Let's
connections.
go.
I brought my son, which was rad. I didn't know if he would, how he'd feel about it, but he really loved it, and he was like, "Oh, that Mika guy, like, yeah, I really like his voice." So I had him chirping in on the people he was liking. Like he liked the Raw. He really loved his set. But yeah, then after that was Amani. Is that the girl?
Yep. Yeah.
And man, dude, I was like that time I was off. I was done DJing. I was sitting with him, my son, and she like blew me out. I was like, whoa, like the beats were knocking.
Mm-hmm.
She had good stage presence. Her voice sounded really good. Man, I was impressed. It was like a Erykah Badu-ish type.
Yeah. It's got some good energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like really, like she looked really comfortable. Which is impressive because
Yeah.
if you're watching an artist and they don't look comfortable, it's hard. Now you're looking at them and noticing they're not comfortable instead of like just taking in what they're delivering to you, right?
Right.
And so she had that down, and then I started connecting with some of the the people that were there, and I actually stepped out I was kind of sad for a couple songs, and so I came back, and then City Hippie I think they were doing a couple more songs. And those guys killed it, My son told me the 2 I Missed songs, it had them and Amani on it.
Yeah.
And he said that was like the dopest shit of the night.
It was like this joint collab. That was a dope one. Hey,
Yeah.
I got the video, so there's the video.
Yeah, I want to check out those songs I didn't see, but yeah, it was a great show, man. It was really impressive. And so, from me starting off this with about vocals on the back, it made me not even think about it. I didn't even think about it, hear it, notice it because they did such a good job performing theirs. Oh, and I forgot the one. How can I forget the one dude?
Rowdy.
Rowdy, yeah, and
Yeah.
I'd heard about him, and had never seen him, so it was really cool to see him. Great melodies,
Yeah.
really good stage presence. You know, good, he's a character too.
Yep.
He's got a character. You know,
Yep.
to have what it takes, you gotta be a character,
Yep.
right? You can't just be like like anybody out there. So he definitely had some nuances and stuff about him that was like, okay, yeah, I can see where this guy could do something.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of cats out there. I don't want to say like a lot of cats out there, but there are cats out there his age that they're taking the sound and dialing it up. You know what I mean? Like a lot of what we've been listening to in at least hip hop for the last 20 years is there's been a lot of club music and party music has been pretty popular, generally very popular, that more like where you getting more like orchestral and like piano sounds and like where the entire production, it's about the quality of sound. You get that a lot less, and see Rowdy's doing that. He cares about the quality of sound, his sound, about the craft in general. You could tell he cares about how he holds himself.
Absolutely, yeah, and he gives you a lot of, like I said, a lot of melodies. Like sometimes people will flip their styles, a couple here and there to impress you, and you'd be like, oh dang, he can really flip his styles. But he seemed like every song he was like flipping the styles and the melodies to where it's like he's got lots of them, which is impressive because in modern day it's hard to do stuff that hasn't been done already, right?
Right.
So you're always trying to like get people to like what you're doing. Sometimes it's gotta sound familiar, but you don't want to sound like something. So I felt like he did really good about having all these melodies. Same with Amani, and which I hope I don't say her name wrong, but
no, that's it. Yeah.
All of them have just lots of good melodies that I can't say, oh, it sounds like that or it sounds like this. They were all coming on their own thing. So that was really impressive. And I remember coming on the Rats, talking to him the next day on the board, like telling him how cool it was that the young ones out here, even though they did have some of their vocals in the back, it's like I didn't notice it because they were really delivering a solid full show, where they weren't like swinging their towel and waters and and not even being on their verse. They were doing the verse the whole.
Yep.
And some of it I could see it's nice because they do melody so much. It's nice to have a little bit of back, in the background to make it fuller and stuff. So I get it too.
It's almost like the Ghost.
Yeah. It wasn't like. Yeah, like I said, some back in the day, man, we would be at some shows where it would just be like the whole thing. It's not like they just took the song and they just played it, and then you might get lucky to hear them overdub on some of it,
Right.
It's crazy.
No, I know. But it's an important conversation, though, too, ma'am, because especially around here, because there, like you said, man, there's been a lot of people. The bar around here is up at a point where lip syncing can't just like it can't be just your default thing that you're just going to default to no matter what and never expect to even want to level yourself up.
Right.
Like that ain't going to fly around here because people don't lip sync around here that can actually do it, that can actually go off the top of their head even.
Right. Because you're like around here, they get a lot of reggae shows, and a lot of people they like instruments, right? I have to say, like Humboldt County loves instruments, which I get. So if you're not a band up there, sometimes there's like, well, what do you got to bring us, And so if you're not performing your actual vocals, it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
I know.
But
and then I see, like, just for instance, right, the Slap Frost tour came through a couple months ago now. It was, I think, beginning of June or so. You know what I'm saying? So that's DJ True Justice coming through.
Yep.
Shout out to True Justice. He brought through Vocab, Slick, Z-Man.
Z-Man. Yeah, that's my dude. Z-Man.
Heck yeah. Holding it
Did
down.
you get to see Z-Man this time?
I didn't actually.
Okay, you'll get him one of these times.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna try to get Z-Man in the podcast too. Because we got I did a pod with Total Devastation when
I heard it. Yeah, that was amazing.
See, that was a good time, man. That was like that OG. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a fun one. You know.
Yeah, the Slap Frost we done a couple, probably 2 or 3 times. We had done. They always ask us. They asked us last time too, but it was just again couldn't wrangle Cal where he was at and stuff. But yeah, those guys are all really good, real quality music. Like I said, Z-Man, dude, that dude is the stage presence. He's just a monster, dude. He'd be from the left or right, look like he's just floating, like and he's funny. I said it in the last podcast. I swear, when I saw Wiz Khalifa come out, I thought it almost looked like he had sat and watched a Z-Man show and was like, "That's what I want to be like." I hate
That's
to
what's
say
up.
that because Z-Man might not like that because he might not see the contrast. But yeah, Z-Man's he's good, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta check his out.
Yeah, when True Justice brings the Slap Frost tour back up here, y'all gotta make sure you go to that show.
Yeah, for sure. They always come with some quality. You
Yeah.
know.
But see, they know. See, True Justice knows. Like, I'm sure you know, he knows the crews that's up here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he hollered at Hap Hathaway. Hap
Yeah,
Hathaway
Hap,
was hosting
yep.
it. You know, shout out to Hap
Definitely
Hathaway.
have crossed paths with him many times. He's a great sound guy, great artist. You know, I've met him multiple times, but never really hung out too much. But he's the type of I would like to hang out with Hap sometime. You know, because I can tell he's a good dude and respected too. You know, people
Yep.
know that he's got the craft.
Yep. And see, other than, Hap, so, I think it was, who else was on there? I think there was people from Blow Something.
Okay, so yeah, see, man, that's what's so cool about here is like OEB, right? I mean,
Shout out to OEB.
I haven't hung out with him much, but through my life I've crossed his paths multiple times. I had a class with him in CR when I was first starting to make beats, and he was doing shows, and I think we had gotten on a few shows like at CR together, you know, a little bit. And then down the way, Damien from our crew ended up doing some work, like they worked together when he had the live in the Humboldt place.
Oh, yeah.
So Damien kind of brought me in. They have the studio up there in the. So now it's it's Chris Durant's place, Savage Henry,
Savage
right?
Henry, yeah.
So he had the studio up there, and I got engineering skills and went to school for it and stuff. So I was like, maybe I could get in there a little bit and see if I could record some people, you know, maybe trade for studio time, or I could maybe sell some beats or something. And so I got to go up there, you know, quite a handful of times just to hang out with the dudes there. Again, I'm not real close with any of them, but they're all really cool, you know, fun to be around, and all talented dudes. But yeah, we did shows also together, like we'd be on the same bill, you know.
Oh, okay.
And it's crazy because Dirty Rat and Blow Something, they're pretty different, you know. But
Yeah.
but easy to get along with, though. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there was no like weird vibe or nothing like that, even though we were kind of different. But
Yeah. OG's in the game, you know,
nothing
real
but respect
recognized
to
real.
him, dude.
Yeah.
OAB, dude, such a good dude, and I think
Yeah.
I have to say it was Christmas time, and you know I was just trying to hustle as much as I could, you know, to at the time, and I don't even know if he needed the beats, bro, but he knew I had them, and he was just like, yeah, let me check out some beats, and so he checked out, you know, some, and went through the list, and yeah, I think he had maybe pulled like 7 or 8 or whatever, I don't remember, and he paid me really well, and it was just like a blessing at the time, you know. I was just like, dang, that's a really cool dude. I don't even know if he had ever even used them, but I just think he was generally trying to help people, you know.
Yeah. He's like that.
Yeah, he is like that, dude. And again, I don't know him super well, but he just seems like a real nice dude that cares about people, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. He was just at the first hip hop night that we did at Louis a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. He came out to show support, man. I love seeing that, you know, like an OG like that. And he was just like, yeah, I'm just here to show support.
Yeah,
You know?
Hey, man, those guys have been doing the Bills for so long. Just steady. So yeah, those are the type of people too, just like us. It's the craft's in them. They can't not do it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes they probably have stunts where they really get at it and then they maybe lay off, but always gonna do it probably. I
Yep.
imagine.
Yeah. Nah, they're holding it down. And I love that people coming in they're going to know the legacy crews that are still holding it down. Again, like I said, like the Rats, Blow Something, still able to
Yeah.
hit the stage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's dope to see.
Yeah, gosh, man, that's so.
It was dope to have you on that show on July 1st. Thank you again for that,
Oh,
GMG.
dude, I was
you know?
that was one of the for the summer. It was like a real highlight, man. We had, like I said, me and my son had a really good time. You know, he's been busy with basketball a lot in school, and you know, summer goes by real fast, and so we go swimming here and there, and I work a lot, so I don't get to really do a lot with him sometimes as much as I'd like. But I don't know, there's something about that night. It was just real relaxed and chill. I could tell he needed it too, just to sit and just take in, you know, the performances and stuff. And yeah, it was good. It was a good time, dude.
It's so, that's so good to hear too, man. It's like, doing shows for even just a short, like 6 months or so that me and, Albert's been doing shows and everything like that. Like, I've talked to artists, and it's so good to see, man, that like first of all, like this area needs these shows, and I'm not talking about they need my shows. I'm just saying they
No,
need these
they
shows
do,
because
man.
like when I talk to the artists that are getting on stage and everything like that, I talk to a couple dudes and they're just like, man, like I was almost about to quit the game because I just didn't think it was, anything was popping. I wouldn't be able to perform, get on the
Yeah,
stage,
yeah.
and just giving the dude, 15, 20 minutes, to just go up there and do a few songs, like really changed the whole game for him. He's like,
It
I'm
means
really back in
everything.
it.
It means everything. I think for us too, like Sonny Long out of the group, and maybe a couple of them are just like, I don't know if they feel like they're growing. That we're getting so much older now. Like, I don't know if I should be really rapping, and there might be kids out there. And all our stuff's pretty, not like explicit, but it's a little dirt. A little this, a little that.
It's the dirty rats. I mean, hey.
Right. And so sometimes, Long's like, well, I hate to, like, I'm trying. I don't want to, like, have to not say what I wrote, but then I'm looking and there's young ones there, and then I feel it kind of throws them off a little bit. So sometimes those guys they like making the music, but not so stoked on the shows as much. But then finally we'll wrangle them into doing one, and then they'll have a good time, and they're like, no, that's fun. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's the thing is you never know. You could be a dude like you said that where you're just like, I'm done, no more shows. I don't need that. I don't need to have practice nights and all that. But then they get a taste and they feel good, and then it kind of rejuvenates to
Yeah.
do some more.
I remember the first time that I saw the Dirty Rats on stage was at the Cypress Hill show about, what was that, 5 years ago now? Might have been?
Yeah,
Something
I'm sure.
like that.
Yeah, time goes by so fast.
It does.
Yeah.
That was a good one, man.
Yeah, that was fun, dude. That was like, for us, I'd say one of our bigger shows to at least locally, amount of people, and I think we went on right before Cypress, so that was a good look because that's when a lot of people are gonna be there.
Right.
That's everything. Sometimes is where you're at in the placement of the set list.
Mm-hmm.
And even sometimes I've noticed with Humboldt County, you think the headliner is the best spot. Sometimes it's not. Because sometimes people in Humboldt County, they have a couple things they're still trying to do at night, like meet somebody at this bar, go there. And if you're going on the latest, you might not have as many people in the show.
Facts.
Which is weird that it is that way. Usually if you're the headliner, you all are waiting to see the headliner. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we got lucky in that show, I have to say. And it was just felt big, we're like, sweet. Because we've had so many shows where, sometimes the artist that's there that you wished would see your set, they might not even be there yet. And you already performed.
No, I know.
But, yeah, so that Cypress Hill show, it was fun, dude. Yeah, it's cool that you went to go because, then you kind of could see that was a good set for us, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I could tell all the guys on the stage had fun too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sound was good. And,
Yeah.
you have plenty of room. Because sometimes with 6 of us or whatever, it gets a little cramped on stage a little bit.
Yeah. It can't be a small little stage.
No, right? Because sometimes you're like, you have to, if you're not on a song, you might sit in the back, or you got to be strategic. We used to have Stir Fry Willie in the group, and he would just be everywhere.
Yeah.
Which was good because he had amazing energy, But sometimes, it's hard not to collide with each other a little bit. Or they got the mic cords that are, oh man, the mic soup, cords, spaghetti or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Shout out to Stir Fry Willie.
Yeah, big shout out to Stir Fry Willie. I just seen him recently. He came to my house to get some shirts done. My wife has a company, a business called Color Me Rad. And they do they did this, which I brought you one.
Oh, that's fire.
I
Are
brought
you
you,
serious?
yeah, dude. I brought you one,
Bro,
and
that's
I remember
fire.
you being
Oh,
I remember you being, I thought, taller than me by a lot, which you are, but I don't know. That might be too big for you now because I got a double X.
Oh, no, this is solid, bro. No,
I
I
just
just definitely
remember you-
rock this.
Oh man, I don't know if like I said I felt bad.
That's clean. Oh, my God, dude. That's clean right there.
So of course that's Sunny Wong art. That's
Yeah.
that's our album that's gonna be coming out. It's already done. It's done. Artwork's done. I think I had an interlude I just yesterday added to it, and it's probably gonna be on the digitals. I would hope in the next couple weeks.
Oh, okay. It's almost here. Oh,
Yeah, and this is
wow.
it's like I don't think we got 13, 14 tracks where almost every track has all the Dirty Rats on it. So
Oh, hell
usually
yeah. Real crew album.
yeah, we try to make sure that this would just be maybe not as many songs, not 20 songs, but everybody's on every song. So
That's what's up.
yeah,
I know it's getting harder and harder. Shout out to Cal. I know Cal moved out of the area, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it gets real hard to make things happen at that point. But, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's one of the things with the pandemic too that kind of changed things is where, you still had to, even with the pandemic
Yeah.
and everything, you still had to do what you had to do,
You
make
had to
it go
get the work
digital.
done. Yep, you have to get and so Cal, dude, Cal's has been so awesome for our group because even there he's still like making the adjustments in the mix, searching for the files. Yeah, all these dudes throwing their stuff in Google Drive or whatever, and they're doing a good job about it. But just sometimes, like say Cal, he might be with his family somewhere, and that week he didn't realize somebody had vocals in this area, and now we're like a month later trying to figure out, well, where's their vocals. And so man, he's got a lot of patience to deal with wrangling it all together, and then he uploads it a lot of times to the platforms. And yeah, it's without Cal around, it's definitely been a little bit harder because he's like one of the biggest drivers in our group, but he's still doing a lot, away. So
That's what's up.
yeah, I'd say Callis and Mr. Ocean really been they drive. Like they be Cal and Ocean be sending out tracks to everybody, like here's my chorus or here's a verse. And then so those guys, I'd say in the last couple, 2 or 3 years have been the heartbeat, and then I've been trying to make sure they always have beats to have, but those two, yeah, much respect to Mr. Ocean and Callis
Yeah,
because
for
they
sure.
really keep it going. And not to take anything away from Kush and Wong, because Kush and Wong both, you might not hear much from a while, and then they'll knock out like 5 of them,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's really cool too. And then it's like you're so stoked to hear the songs that have been waiting for their verses. So no, everybody, and then Damien too. Damien's steady. You don't have to worry about Damien usually. Damien's if something's ready and he needs to get on it, he gets his done. He's got his own setup. Everybody pretty much has their own setup at home.
Yeah, to be
So
able to
that's
record and
yeah.
everything.
Cal has
Yeah.
his own, Ocean has his own, Kush has his own, Wong has his own. Yeah, they all do. Except for me, I just make beats, but I don't have Pro Tools or nothing. I need to get that together because my daughter, she's wanting to record, and I just don't have capabilities of recording vocals and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's the vibes right now.
Hey man, you guys are still doing it though, man. Like I said, that 84 to Infinity was solid, and
Thanks,
I
dude.
can only imagine this one right here. You said it's 13 to 15
I think
tracks?
it's got 13. Yeah, a couple of them. We were gonna call the album the Dirty Dozen, right? We're just gonna have 12.
Oh, okay.
And Wong had gotten some art for it, and it was really dope. But then there were like these other tracks, like 2 or 3, that were just like, well, how are they not gonna go on there? And then, there's nobody telling us we have to do anything. So it's like, if I could just put 15 or whatever. Call it the Dirty Dozen still, make them hidden tracks or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, something was like, well, why we don't need to call it that. Wong came up with "Let's Get Dirty," because one of the tracks, the first track, it's got a sample where it says "Let's Get Dirty." So we just ran with that one.
Yeah.
And then Wong popped out the art. Yeah.
Shout out to Wong. I mean, he's killing it. I mean, I just saw he's moving on from, it's not Walks, but it's Bear Enterprises, right? That does they do all like the kind of like marketing and stuff like that and everything. I know another dude that works for him, but he's done so much high quality design work for Humboldt County over the years. I mean, it's unbelievable, dude. Like I just, had, you saw the episode with Jay the Sarge that I just did in the Juice Box.
Yeah.
And Jay the Sarge gifted me this vinyl. I forgot exactly the name of it, but Wong did the cover art that they put on the vinyl on both sides of it. You know what I mean? It's just classic Wong, like the skeleton and everything like that. It's just fire.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like a heavy metal album, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. I know I brought, like I said, I just put in my little bag here, a handful of them, which,
Oh, man.
this, I don't know if I gave you this one last time. This is actually Ink's. And Ink is another, Ink is which I haven't really get to hang out with much lately, but we talked about him in the last podcast. But like as far as a person that's not in the group, but if I would say is his family's closest to the group, is this dude. Ink is amazing, dude.
Bro, I'm blessed to have this. I love his music, dude.
Oh, man, he's
I
so
came
good.
up on his last album that he dropped last year.
Yeah.
And from there, bro, I'm like, whoa, this dude he's killing it because he's producing.
Yeah, he's recording. So he's got his own setup now, and he records his own stuff. And I'll send him beats and stuff, and there'll be stuff added to the beats and the intros and the back end to connect him. Like he's doing stuff on his own now, and it's sounding really good because he's got a great ear, dude.
Yeah,
Dude's got. I mean, I don't know. When we first got together, we heavily went in. Like we had a studio in Fortuna that me, Wong, and Ink would go into a lot and work out of. And Wong and him did lots of music together, and Ink was in there chopping samples up. just hours of time of trying. And then he would leave them in folders for me if I wanted, to plug them away. And
See, that's
yeah,
what's up. That creates a whole sound.
yeah, we had a really good stint of time when that studio was in Fortuna, and Franco was coming in a little bit then. Yeah, and so yeah, check that
That's
out.
fire. Thanks, GMG.
Yeah, dude, and I think I might have gave you every one of these when I was here last time, but so I don't want to lay upon you a bunch of.
Well, if I specifically remember them, I'll give them back because
Well,
I
you
don't
don't
want
have
to
to
take
give.
two from you. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
I don't mind if you do. As I just, you could always give them away, but
Oh, that's the other thing too.
that's the
Yeah.
high strangeness one. That was
Oh yeah.
Kush Callus and Wong, a side project one.
Uh huh.
Obviously, that's all the Wong art.
Hell yeah.
Then was the Boomtown. My kids really love this one.
Oh
There's a
yeah. I've
couple
listened
songs.
to tracks on that one on Spotify.
It's got
That
the
one's
champagne
fire.
in the mason jar, which was like one of our, even though it's we don't have like a, if you were to say greatest hits, though, if you knew our music, that would probably be on the
Yeah.
greatest hits.
Nah, there's some hits on there, man. There
Um,
was a track on here with Eli Fowler and some Little Kid Lost on there.
yep.
That one was fire.
And then there's the Dirty Floyd, which was my just, like I said, I took all the beats from Pink Floyd and made all the Dirty Rats thing get on them. I think there was Sarge's on there with some cuts, and
See, that's sick.
there's some other. I think guy named Mexicron, who was another
Yeah.
cat that was doing music around here for a while. Another really cool dude. He actually did the show with us at Cypress Hill,
Oh, okay, yeah, yep.
and he was in he was in a group that here locally. He was him and some other dude, and
Swizzlow said the name before.
was
I
it
forget
Collective Elements
Yeah.
or something like that? I hate saying their wrong name, but Mexicron's a cool
Shout out to
dude.
Mexicron.
He's
Yeah.
really good.
Heck yeah.
Ink's on here.
Oh, that's
but
definitely a classic.
Mostly Dirty Rats. I think. Oh, and also we got Knack One on there,
Oh, hell yeah.
and there's one of my other favorite dudes too. I wanted to mention in this podcast is talk about a human being that just glows of just good, just amazingness. Is Stevie Culture. Damn, that dude's cool.
Shout out to Stevie Culture and
on
the
here,
Irie
too.
Rockers, man.
Yeah, dude, that dude. We've done shows with him and made songs with him. Just totally humble and like no ego and amazing. Man, we had a show at Red Fox one time and we were doing a show with them, and they did some. We were going back and forth, I think. So they had the drum set up on the stage, and I had my DJ stuff, and we were doing some songs, and he would come on stage and start overdubbing my drums with his drums. Oh man, it was so dope.
That's
It was
crazy.
so nice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's so talented.
Dude, and he's still out there killing it. Stevie Culture is still out there
Yeah.
every month doing something. I'm telling you, I see him.
Doing full vocals from the drums a lot of times, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, heck yeah. Shout out to Stevie Culture for sure.
And then there's another Kush Callison Wong. Obviously got the Beat Street.
Oh, that's definitely new. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that one's even older than that one, the other Kush Callison Wong, but that's like the one before that. And then this one, I don't know if I gave you two last time, but I'd be stoked if you gave them to anybody, if you had
Any
the
duplicates
doubles,
for
yeah.
sure.
And
Yeah.
then this was Callison and Mr. Ocean.
Oh, okay. Is that more recent too?
Yeah, that one's definitely more recent for sure.
Yeah.
A couple years maybe.
See, that's what's up. Thanks, GMG. Hell yeah.
Dude, I mean, again, I hate sometimes in this era where people are just on their phones hearing music, and I drop all these discs on you. You're like, man, I'm gonna shuffle them around, but
And now I got my vault, and I got a whole little box. It's got a vinyl player, you know what I'm saying, a record player, it's got a CD player, cassette player. I slide a cassette in there and everything. Yeah. Thanks a lot, GMG,
yeah,
man.
and that's like there's still 30, 40 other albums with Wong art that I don't have, with me that they're out there that pretty impressive. Wong, how much time he's put into art for us.
Yeah.
We're pretty lucky because
The
he's
whole-
always got lots of work going. Tons of people want stuff done from him. So to have him stop what he's doing to help us out with the art, we're pretty lucky.
Yeah, it's that's the great thing about having an artist collective and a group like that is like at maximizing everybody's talents, you know what I'm saying? Like that's having Wong on your crew, you know what I'm saying, if you have Wong on your crew, I'm just thinking hypothetically, right? Like with all the talents that Sonny Wong has, you know what I'm saying? Like to have Wong on your crew for only one of his many talents would just it wouldn't even fit, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why I think just it's how it all works out. But him as a part of the Dirty Rats, it's been magic.
It is, dude. And even before I was getting them beats, Wong was getting, like, before, right when Dirty Rats started, they were doing stuff already together, and he was making tons of beats. And even once we started making the first couple Dirty Rat albums, there were still some Wong beats in there. So not only is he doing the artwork, and he's got some beats on there, and he's got a bunch of vocals on there. It's like, yeah, dude, he's got a lot of assets.
I love it, and I love to see. I'm not just trying to take that. It's a Sonny Wong takeover, but hey, he's an important. He's a pillar in Humboldt County hip hop without a doubt.
Dude, when I met Wong, it was like, you just any chance you could schedule time to hang out with the dude. Sometimes we would just talk sometimes about, then we were conspiracies or anything. I don't know. He's just easy to talk to for hours, and then we were supposed to make a beat or something, but then we just spent all the time talking and stuff.
Yep.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's a community-minded man, you know what I'm saying? Like, the latest, stuff that I see from Sonny is, he's doing these videos that he puts out on YouTube to help to show people what he's doing with the T-shirt game, with the gear game. You know what I'm saying? Like, killing it.
Yeah, with his new, like, hairdo and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wong. Yeah, he's awesome.
Cult of the Wild. CultOfTheWild.com. Check it out.
Yeah, much love to Cult of the Wild, dude. He's got what it takes. Wong does, dude. As far as a character that needs to be, taken in way more than Humboldt County, like throughout the whole world. He's a worldly type figure, and I know he will and does. He's already, but I know he will. People be talking about Wong stuff for generations. I think.
Yep. No, I agree, man. He's got a lot of stuff out there, and it's all dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's everything that he's got out there is remarkable in some way. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not you just see it right away.
Yeah.
Or then you maybe hear the story about it. I mean, I just go around, I take my lady to the Diver in Eureka. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever been there.
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, the whole, the walls on both walls for the place is the hugest. Like, I mean, this one's small that I've got.
Is that Henderson Center? Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta go in there because I keep hearing this and I haven't been in there.
It's a nice vibe. The shout out to the owner down there. He cooks great food. You know what I'm saying? But they got these huge Sonny Wong paintings on the wall, man, and it just creates this great vibe, man.
Yeah, I'm about to go check it out. Yeah, Wong art. I have a little bit, and other guys in the group have got some. But yeah, it's neat to go in different households, and there's that common thing as the Wong art.
Heck yeah, that's Humboldt County right there. For sure. He's entrenched.
Yeah, well, Kush had a bunch of them at one time when he was a bachelor. I think, gosh, his home had. They was just every wall was just covered of Sonny Wong art.
Oh shit! See, that's what's up. Yeah. Shout out to Kush too,
man. Shout out to Kush, dude. Kush is dude when it's talk like vocally wise, I don't like to put anybody against anybody or say anybody's better than anybody or anything like that. But I will say, yeah, Kush's verses and stuff though, he's got so much, melodies, but not like what's cool about Kush is like he'll throw in a melody in the rhyme, but still it's like still in the rhyme realm, He's not really singing too much.
Right.
But yet he's delivering these kind of melodies through the rap. It's crazy. Yeah, Kush is on a different level, dude. I love Kush's rhymes, bro.
And that's not easy to have a scheme like that, like, patterns in a scheme like that when you're rhyming and be able to actually, like, deliver.
Yeah.
There's multiple levels of hip-hop involved with that people fail on all the time.
Absolutely.
And Kush, shout out to Rex again, you know what I'm saying? But I've heard between Rex and all kinds of other homies out there, they really like Kush's voice.
Yeah, he's got a good sounding voice. I'm a huge Outkast fan, and I don't even think Outkast was one of the groups he was really super into, but just when I first started messing with him, like his early Dirty Rats, and his verses to me would feel that way, right? Because, he's a white boy, and he's not trying to sound black, but yet he had something in his voice, though, that was like, it just didn't sound like he's trying, but it still got a little soul to it. I don't know, it's hard to describe, because he's from Humboldt County, he's not from anywhere where there's Motown or anything like that, and it's not like he's trying to do, but just something about the way he delivers stuff. Just like I feel authentically Kush is hip hop. Like I can, without trying, like you don't have to try. He's just a fucking, he's hip hop.
Yep, he's got that edge. I love it when I listen to his rhymes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's got that delivery, man. I'm telling you, that's not easy. A lot of people will be out there. They may be a great pen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't have the delivery.
Right. Yeah, but again, I've been blessed to be with all these guys. Callison has he's got all of it, but the pen very like Callus. You run through his verse of what he said, he was like, "Dang, dude, like you're gonna run out of content. You just put it all in this one verse." But then every verse doesn't have the same content, So smart
Hmm.
dude, like super smart. Callus is like definitely stuff he says. I have to run through a couple times to catch it all.
And that's the mark of a real wordsmith right there, where you got double, triple, even more entendres,
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Where
yeah,
if somebody's just going through and just rhyming, like the most simplest schemes and everything like that, that's at this point now we've had 50 years of hip hop coming up on in a few days now, August
yeah,
11th. We've
yeah.
had 50 years of hip hop. There's certain things that are played out and it's boring.
Absolutely. I agree. You could be really, really good, like good stage presence, delivery well, confidence, beats are banging, but if you're not separating yourself out, I almost rather see somebody that beats maybe aren't as good, or maybe their voice is a little weird, but there's something about them, that just stands out as a little different, so then you kind of want to see what else they got going.
Right.
That's like Ocean, let's say, like Ocean has this, a nasally sound, which I've got allergies today, so I'm kind of feeling oceany. But he had broke his nose before, and he had an operation done, and so his nasally sound, I really like. It's kind of like the Cypress Hill dude, right? A little bit. Um, he just got a cool sound that's like no one sounds like him.
Yeah.
And he's got the vibes. Ocean paints the pictures from Humboldt really well. Like he puts nostalgic. No, Ocean is really good on nostalgics. Is that a word?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
Like
is on this pod.
maybe it's just for me because I grew up with him mainly. I spent most of my times with him, and so when he writes stuff, it really takes me to where I feel that shit.
Heck yeah.
And then Damien does that too. Damien's voice though. Damien's so out of everybody in the crew. Damien's got that golden like the voice. Sometimes if someone checks out our album, maybe they're from the Bay Area or out of Humboldt. That's the guy that I usually like. I like him
Mm-hmm.
because he's got a really good tone
Yep.
and he's strong. He delivers well.
That's that's something in hip hop that it's kind of that tone that you don't hear a whole lot. It's like that Charlie Tuna, what I mean, that real baritone, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
Like stuff like that. You don't like that Mika Son, like you saying your son
yeah.
Trent like that
Those
Mika
two,
Son.
those two really complement each other well on a song
Yeah.
because they got that sound where I don't know. It's just you already respect the sound of the voice. So like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, to where sometimes like, back in the days, I don't want to say Franco. Franco has a really good voice too, but sometimes his shit would be so amazing, and I would show it to some people, and I'd just think like, don't you hear what he's saying? It's just amazing. And they might be like, his voice is a little, you know. But I don't know. I thought Franco had a good voice, but that's just what I'm saying. Sometimes it's just you don't know what the consumer or the listener what's jumping out to them. Sometimes it's the tone of the voice, the confidence of the voice, or maybe what they're saying.
Yep.
So
Plus two is I talk about this a lot with my friends, what I'm saying, but plus two, I mean it's hip hop, so there's just gonna be haters out there.
there is always good
You know.
haters out there, and you got to be able to channel your haters, right? Because that's good fuel. Like Wong coined that phrase, "Turn your hate into cash."
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, it's and I've been hearing some of the podcasts I hear. Some of the famous people tell me like that was the biggest key to their success was the haters. I think I was listening to Ice T. Man, have you heard the Ice T one on
Drink
Drink
champs.
Champs? Man, you
Yeah.
heard that one?
Yep.
Okay, I advise anybody listen to that one. That was a really good one.
Yep.
And he
He's
was
got.
saying that about that's the haters. Thank you,
Yep.
haters.
Yeah, I mean they keep some people alive, really, because
Yeah,
like at some points in time, you might get nothing but hate.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And so that's really you got to let it be your fuel. You know what I'm saying? Because
totally.
especially in something like hip hop, is you know it's just coming off of a energy that's very territorial.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be anybody that, especially once you start succeeding,
Yeah,
oh man, forget about it. You're gonna have haters from there.
absolutely. Because a lot of times they feel like they're right. They could do it too, right? Or I could do that, or
Hmm.
I'm right there and I'm gonna do that. So
Right. then too, you know what I'm saying, I'm just, looking at the remarkableness of how, certain cliques come together and stay together like the Dirty Rats have, and, stay consistent. Is that not everybody can do that. Not everybody's involved with that.
Yeah, that's one blessing for sure. Because yeah, that's the impressive part. I'd say what we got to give is that I can't see us not doing this. For till ever forever really.
Yep.
And it's easy. So it's I wish we got together more. And I think as the kids, we all have the kids, and they're all doing stuff, and maybe we might be a bunch of older guys getting together. We're already older guys, but even older guys, right? Maybe we'll get together more. But yeah, that's the toughest part sometimes, is just not being able to get together as much.
Right.
But again, I feel like by integrating a little bit into the scene here, like being able to go, like when you invited me to, what you have to offer with your shows, and Knack and them, they let me come do the cipher sometimes. I met with Verge. Do you know Verge?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Shout
yeah.
out to Verge.
Dude,
Yeah.
he was okay. So we just did the Fat Bull cipher again. I think it was the third time I'd done it. Actually, Goldie. Shout out to Goldie. He's the one that invited me. Super genuine, nice guy.
He's been holding it down for a while in Humboldt on so many levels.
Oh, dude,
man.
yeah.
It's so crucial to have. Goldilocks has been a staple, another staple.
Definitely. I remember Goldie the first time I saw him. He was DJing and we were doing a set at some skateboard comp in Riadel, which is put on by a friend of mine. In fact, I'm actually next weekend DJing. I think it's the same skate comp, but it's here in Eureka at the skate, thing.
Oh yeah.
I did it last year too.
Okay.
It was pretty neat, cool amount of people come out, and a good crowd, kids, adults, good vibes.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, so that's when I met Goldie then, and then that was years ago, right? So ever since then, with the radio station, I know he's got his own shows, and he's on the bills a lot. Yeah, he's been holding it down as far as a hip hop DJ. Yeah. Fully.
Nah, he's crucial, and it's so good to see somebody just Goldie started out of his garage. You know what I'm saying? Just started organically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just and that just shows that that's the kind of stories that I really wish. I know that Goldie has his own media presence. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, he's got his radio shows and everything like that, and I get that. And I'm just trying to say, like, I wish that the media around here, like somebody like Goldie, he's like a success story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He just, like I said, started out of his garage and just worked on himself, built up his craft.
Got his equipment up, got it good.
Yeah. That's what people need to be doing around here. People won't do it until they've seen it done. True. A lot of the time. So they've got to like the media around here, like they need to go interview Goldie. Goldie was just on the best of the North Coast Journal's best of for the best radio personality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like I don't know who's gonna win that, but I really hope Goldie wins it. And if he doesn't, it don't matter. He's won it. Cause he's the best radio personality around here.
He is, dude. He's really good.
Yeah.
I know. And there should be a lot more recognition in this area for the Humboldt talent that we have here, and the DJs and the people like you and stuff. There definitely should be more of the community that's wanting to get involved to find out more, to pass it around more to people, instead of it just being only the hip hop people, right? Because I know it's getting around at this point, like all the venues and everything. There's a lot of hip hop going on.
Yep,
needs to be recognized.
Yeah, exactly. Like just even the most minimal media exposure could actually really go a long way.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like, so I just really, if I'm not trying to use this episode to goad any media people into anything, I'm just trying to say like y'all could be doing better by Humboldt County Hip Hop by just letting us in.
I agree. I agree. I mean, because Humboldt's crazy like that. It's like, even for the young people, it's such a beautiful area and good opportunities, but it just seems like sometimes for the kids stuff or the younger people stuff, they don't really put much funding in. I don't want to get political, because I don't want to be, I don't know much about it. I don't research it, so maybe they do. I don't know. But I know from myself growing up here, we would, really it was just you could play basketball. That's what we would go find the courts and play basketball. But there wasn't a lot to do really. You go to the beach, that's cool. Go to the river bar, that's cool. But like, there wasn't much people putting on things. Things to see, things to listen to. Sports events. I know it's a little bit more now. Getting better. Like beasts and stuff. They got a program down there for the young, and that's cool.
Right. They got the Mars Project, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, that's
yep.
doing things.
So there's
That's some
some
good
things. I don't
infrastructure.
want to, say there isn't any, but
There could be more.
could be more. There should be more.
Yeah.
They need to keep kids so they're not getting as much trouble, not
Right.
getting as much alcohol and drugs
Right.
because there's more things to like see people to look up to and then want to practice and hone in your skills because you're looking up to those people,
Hmm.
you know.
And hip hop, that's the thing that anybody who's not really, I really feel like anybody who's listening to this podcast is a hip hop head. I want to say that. But also, so the non hip hop heads, one of the things that they don't get is that hip hop, you know, it's getting people to do better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not really there's the image of what the media on the mainstream level represents, and that's saying that hip hop is this and it's
Right.
about violence and all
It's
that.
chaotic. You don't know what could happen. Something
Right.
can bust out. You never know. Fights, drugs,
Right. And
people
so
taking advantage of people.
exactly. And that image is what like people in Humboldt County just by default they just see like hip hop is
Yeah.
that.
Right.
But hip hop is not that.
No.
Actually, hip hop is Brian Swislow giving
Yeah.
his time for years and years to create and cultivate a sound.
Right.
Hip hop is you doing the same thing for the Dirty Rats. Hip hop is Sonny Wong
Yeah.
giving his lifeblood to create some of the dopest visuals happening in Northern California for all
Yeah.
these different brands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like that's hip hop.
Yeah, good people with that comfort, like trusting,
Right.
not trying to break out in chaos, not trying to be all messed up on tons of drugs. Like more or less, hip hop around here is like it wants people to be comfortable and create and build skills of like respect, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know it should definitely be propped up more because that's not the case. It's not like
Yeah.
people are going to be coming up on some beef, this crew against that crew.
It ain't like that in Humboldt County.
Pulling guns out and stuff like that. People generally just they've been working all day. They just want to take in good music, have a good vibe.
Right.
I mean, yeah, there's going to be people that are going to be on drugs or maybe they have some, ill will, so they want to hurt somebody. But
It's out there. It's always going to be out there. But,
it's anywhere, anything, right?
yeah, but that's not hip hop. See, hip hop is, when it comes to the kids, I feel like hip hop resonates with the kids more so than almost any other art form. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like if Humboldt County will continue to let hip hop in, like we were talking about, let Rex come and teach the kids
Yeah.
breakdancing.
Yeah.
I'm seeing now DJ Run Dat, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
She's out there teaching kids how to DJ and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a cool lane, right? You can make good money on DJing, really, if you got your stuff together, get a nice banner, be on time, show respect,
Yep.
do what you're supposed to do, try to get along with the crowd, and all that, and then
We need the next generation.
and be steady on it. I wish sometimes I had my stuff together a little bit more because, you can make a good income on it. For me, I think I steered a little away from it because I had kids and I didn't want to be out at night all the time, but I think if I could go back to when I was younger, which I did, that's how I started in beat making was I was with this dude named Orlando, super cool guy, lives around here, dude. This guy is amazing. We used to DJ together. He was actually the DJ first. He kind of he had the equipment. He let me in. We were doing Fortuna, like the Angelina, and there used to be a bowling alley called the Trophy Room. And man, we started off there playing hip hop music, and there'd be some heads in there, some people, but they grew and grew and grew until it was just like packed. The bars were just making money, and it was like, that's kind of where I started was with Orlando DJing, so DJing's a great in on any, in a way. A, you can make money. B, it's fun to provide to the community good music. And C, it can lead to other like doing music, making music,
It's
So-
the first pillar.
Yeah, it's a good, like, I hope maybe one of my kids, there's three of them, maybe would have maybe some interest in DJing, because, yeah, you can make some money and it's fun,
Hey, Trent saw you at, you know what I'm saying, that show on July 1st. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, right.
That was inspirational, man. Just between, you know what I'm saying, you and Just One.
Just
y'all
one is
killed it.
yeah, no, I'll always admit, dude, I have not spent much time practicing scratching at all. I wish I could, but I think my time is sometimes what I have, and I really love the beat making process. And to me, even though I've been making beats 20 years, I still feel like I got a long ways to go, you know, which
is crazy because you make beats,
thanks,
bro.
dude. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. But like on the theory end and on the equipment end, and just, you know, I feel like I still got a ways to go. So sometimes it's hard for me to set aside like a Just One or something like that, where they've got the dude. He's a DJ, you know.
He's
Just
a
One's like
scratch DJ.
he's like, you know, respectable in the world, not just a local DJ. Like he could
Mm-hmm.
DJ anywhere, and he's got the skills, you know.
Yep.
To where me, I'm just like I'm like a selector, I guess I would call it, or something, you know, because I selected tracks. You know, I read a crowd. That's what I did before I started making beats and got good at, was reading a crowd. Really, you got to sometimes get off your what you want to play.
Right.
I mean, I hate to say that, because if you're a really good DJ, then and you're getting paid, then you should go out there and just play what, you know. You're an artist, so I'm playing what I'm gonna play. This
Right.
is me. You come to my show, you see what I'm putting out there. But in Humboldt, when you're out and about here, you have such a variety of people. Nobody cares about what you think is, you know, the best. They want to be in their vibe,
Right.
here in their jam, while they're feeling good. And if you provide that, I've had so many cool people, dudes that were looking like in the club, look hard, look like they were gonna hurt somebody, kind of scared me a little bit, but asked me to play a song, and I did, and then they were like my best friend, you know. Yeah, so
Yep.
just playing a song for somebody, even though it's not in your, you know, whatever, you might not stand for that song, like it, you know, people appreciate it a lot. So
Yeah. Nah, the DJ is a very important part of so many different venues, and that I really agree with exactly what you said. Where we need more, because, and I'm not trying to dilute the scene. I'm just
yeah,
saying, we've got there's to be honest about it. There's a small pool of DJs in Humboldt County now. I may be saying that, and I'm only looking at like the DJs that actually put themselves out there and are prominent and do shows. Maybe I mean, I'm assuming, right, there's going to be another good dozens to, a few hundred people that, just on the back end, you know what I'm saying? Like, like you said, like to select music, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying, and mess around with it and everything like that. But in terms of the DJs that are out there doing shows, there's only so many. And separate from that, in 5-10 years, there's just always going to be a need for
yep,
new
I know,
DJs around here. So it's dope to see, like I said, what DJ Rundad is doing. You
yep,
know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that this Congress, I'm not trying to nudge the Congress into doing one thing one way or another. I'm just saying, like, I hope to see, whether it's the Congress or whether, what I'm saying, what Juice and the Juice Box is doing out there in Arcata with the church sessions that they're doing on Sunday. So they're bringing out like a bunch of different dope artists to the studio and just vibe
wow.
and just make music and stuff like that. And
In a church, even in it, or is it
no, it's at the recording studio.
at a studio?
But
Yeah,
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 they call it
that's
the
cool.
church. And I
Yeah,
mean, man, it's the dopest thing, man. It's one of the coolest things that's happening around here, and we just need more of that. We need more, like, again, like we've got, there's what's been done, and there's just people trying to come up in the game and learning it and everything like that. And I'm not saying anything about anybody one way or another. I'm just saying, like, in addition to people, trying to learn the game, trying to come up, there are OGs that know how to rap, that can rap for hours, like Knack One,
yeah,
like
see,
Eli Fowler, right
yeah,
off one of the best performers in
yes,
the county. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? So the bar is high
definitely,
in Humboldt County. So I think that, like, one of the things is that people just need to acknowledge that. Like, and
yeah,
I'm specifically talking about, I'm not telling people what to do, but newer artists out there, there's got to be an acknowledgement of what culture you're in, that you stepped into, and like who's out here doing it and what they're doing. And it's got to be acknowledged. Hey, like, there's people out here that don't lip sync. There's people out here that can freestyle for hours.
yeah,
There's people out here that have great stage presence, that can control crowds like Highway.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So when you step into the scene, you have to at least understand where the bar is
yeah,
and where you're at. There's just got to be some congruence. That's my only thing. You know what I'm saying? There can't be, what I don't want to see, and I'm not anybody, but I'm just saying what I don't like to see is, like, so I've seen, like I said, you guys hold it down for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? What I don't like to see is anybody step in the scene and just, like, ignore it all.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
kind of like, that's disrespectful.
yeah,
That's not gonna build. That's not gonna help you build. And really, hip hop, it's all about networking, man.
it
Like, that's
is,
why I do these events. That's what the podcast is for. All these different things that
yeah.
I'm trying to do is really to help just create more of a scene.
And you're doing it huge, bro. You're doing it huge. I mean, this is the
Hey,
biggest. You know, I don't want to compare times, which was more and more, but this is one of the biggest times I've seen. And I'm coming off of like where I would be saying like when because we were doing shows again like every month a couple, and there was definitely something going, and I feel like it was a scene, but for me to just because that was in the time when we were doing it compared to now, like I feel like the flyers are flowing right now,
it is.
so it's just and which is amazing for us is that just since we're not organizing and doing as much, it's nice that you're giving us, and NAC one's giving us like the veins to jump in on. So for people
Right.
like us that like the old heads, like you said, doing a long time, we're not left out, because it could be easy to do, right? Like I mean, Dirty Rats is a name that a lot of people have heard of, but like let's be honest, I know you could have lived in Humboldt in the last 10 years and be into hip hop and never heard of Dirty Rat. That's a realistic thing. I mean, a lot of people have, but I'm just saying I'm not gonna fool myself. I know that's a reality, and so if we weren't getting out, if I wasn't coming out to your show or doing the ciphers or, you know, it could easily just be forgotten completely. So luckily for us, there is a surge going on right now because even though we're maybe not heavily involved in it, it's still, it's that we're always there. Like again, these podcasts and stuff. I mean, it's just everything for people that, when you make hip hop music or you can want money and all that, but any head out there that we all know or friends with, you just want the respect mainly. You just would love for people to put you in their car to hear it someday. Hey, I heard you, and it's happened before where somebody told me they heard Dirty Rat at a stoplight, and I'm in my head, I'm like, dude, that's it.
Yep.
That's why I do this. It's not so much I'm gonna feel bad because I'm not making an income off of it, steadily. It's like people just recognizing that you're doing it. So,
Yeah.
there's this guy Casey that came to the show.
Shout out to Case.
I've seen him around
Yeah.
at shows for a long time. I know we spoke maybe once or twice, but never hung out. But he just said some kind words to me, as a producer, and I was just like, wow, that's like really cool. Like this is why I do this,
Hmm.
because a hip hop head tells you some respect. You're like, that's cool.
Yeah. Now, Case is a real one. Shout out to Case, man. Shout out to LCA. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
definitely. We
saying?
also, you know, we've made tracks with the LCA cats, so so definitely much respect to them.
Yeah. They
And
were
there's so
holding it
many.
down.
There's so many. It's crazy when we sit here and you start naming them. There's really just a lot of them out there, that have been doing it or had done it,
Right.
still do it. It's like
Yep.
man,
Really, honestly, I mean, I'm trying to think back. I'm just actually trying to take a second to think back, and I'm probably there's some crew, there's somebody that I'm missing. I don't think there's anybody really, maybe from like the Thick crew. Shout out to
right?
Thick, that just passed away. Rest in peace.
Another little story, real quick.
Yeah.
Just as so I was in a studio. One of my best friends, still one of my best friends. Shout out to Tui. Tui had a studio in Fortuna. That was like one of the beginnings where we record a lot of Dirty Rat tracks. I did like 3 of Franco's albums out of there, maybe 2.5 albums out of there. But he then we were doing this in his garage, and he had like Cubase, and I had an MPC, and we were building, our equipment. And I mean, this is like 20 years ago. Then he got a commercial spot in Eureka to where the public, like a studio to record in. And Big Daddy came in there. I didn't know Big Daddy, he just came into the studio or whatever. And he brought in like his brother, Thick Man,
Yep.
and this girl. Gosh, I hate. She was really good too. I forget her name, but they were coming to shop some beats for her, and that's how I met Highway. It was because uh, Big Daddy told me about Highway. Oh, you should check him out too. And that was just a straight, cool time where I didn't really know any of them, but I met them all, and then yeah, Thick Man. They were a different style, but they definitely had passion for what they were doing. And I wish I would remember the girl's name, but she was really good too.
I bet she's still making music. See, that's the thing, is that like between Big Daddy and Thick, and just basically anybody that was involved with any of the cliques that existed. And again, so I'm coming from a generally somewhat narrow perspective because I'm missing a lot because I
Yeah,
wasn't directly involved. So I may be missing people. But in general, I think that there's at least one person from just about every clique that has existed in Humboldt County that is still moving something forward in some way, shape, or form.
I
Whether
agree.
it's like One Ton, who's bringing out
Right.
these dope
Which
shows
was a
out here
really
right
good
now.
pod. That pod you had with One Time was super good.
That was fire. Yeah,
He's
shout
a.
out to One Ton.
I don't know him that well, just in passing. Dirty Rats had went to their studio and did a track, and a while back at the Big Bang studio, and he's just a good. He seems like a real nice guy, good presence.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we don't know each other really well, but
Now, he's a dope dude.
he seems like a really cool dude. Like
Yeah.
I could see hanging out with him. He seems like he's funny and he's got a lot of knowledge to pass. I got a lot of information on that pod. It's
Mm-hmm.
really good. And
Yeah.
before I forget too, underrated.
Right.
Never hung out with him either. Never really met him either. But me and him did talk online back and forth there, like maybe like 5 years ago, talking about maybe collaborating. I was trying to get him on a track. It never ended up happening, but another dude I'd like to hang out with sometime, because he seems really fun. He's really good at making beats, and he's an amazing MC. So
Yep.
yeah, that dude. I would hate to not mention him as far as the big guys
Right.
in this area, because that's who I don't want to say we looked up to, because I don't say all the Dirty Rats, but I did as a producer. I was like, dang, dude, his beats are knocking,
Yeah.
and it sounds really good, and they're doing
Mm-hmm.
it, and so yeah.
Yeah, to my understanding, underrated is still out there, you know what I'm
I
saying?
see him
It
out there,
may be
yeah.
slower, you know what I'm saying? But, it's just the game is different nowadays. But
Things are really
to
different.
my understanding, like, he had one of the most dialed setups, you know what I'm saying? Studio
Definitely.
type of setups and everything. Like,
Sound is always
yeah.
really good, and I mean I'd seen little videos he would post, and all his gear looked really good, and
Yep. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's, whether it's Case, shout out to Case from LCA,
Yep,
who's
yep.
still doing stuff right now. And I'm not trying to reveal the back end of what's going on out there. I'm just
Yeah.
giving y'all a little taste of everything.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm saying?
I'm
But like
loving
he's, Case is doing work with Eli Fowler and Highway
Yeah.
right now.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So between Case with LCA, I see my boy Rock Slang out there from the North Bay Riders.
right.
You know what I'm saying? He's still out there moving and doing, doing new tracks and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So that's the North Bay Riders represented.
Yep.
There's the Dirty Rats. I mean,
Yep.
obviously the Dirty Rats obviously you guys just dropped that album, 84 to Infinity, but you're still out here doing shows.
Yep, yep.
Sonny Wong is still killing it on multiple levels. See, even just Sonny Wong, man, like I love to see it because Sonny Wong has his presence. He has a presence, even just himself, whether it's just his brand that he's doing, the Cult of the Wild thing,
Yeah.
just Sonny Wong in general, bro. Like, I mean, he'll make beats and drop beats, you know what I'm saying, like that, and put it with like videos of him at like the river or like doing
Yeah.
like fun stuff with his lady and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like just setting the bar, moving the bar forward
Yeah.
constantly, you know what I'm
Constantly.
saying? So
Yeah,
like
dude.
Swizzlow, I mean, like we said with Swizzlow and everything that he's moving forward, Object Heavy, Fat Bull, and everything else, you know what I'm saying? So basically, and like again, Eli Fowler too, you
Yep,
know what I'm
yep.
saying? He's been, heavily entwined with, the Freestyle King, Subliminal Sabotage, and since everything that he's done, so I feel like I may be wrong, but almost, I bet like every clique in Humboldt County that over the years in Humboldt County Hip Hop that has made a splash, the artists are still out here in some kind of way, shape, or form
Yep.
doing something.
You're absolutely right, because all the groups that I remember we were first doing stuff on, which I have to. This is again, when I mention these names, I can't say that we hang out or like we're we're friends even. But as I see, I'm just such a fan my whole life. Like I know I'm a white kid and that doesn't mean anything. But sometimes when people will say something like, whether you deserve the respect or there's this, I don't know any different because I grew up in it. Like I can't, that's just what I grew up in. That's who I am. And when you are that way, you want to know everything. I want to know everything. I want to know everybody. I want to hear all their stuff. And I'm not even judging. I just want to hear it,
Right.
And this Dressar the Monumental.
Yeah.
Okay, so I say that name because a long time ago when we first started, like I first started making beats, he came in to our studio, or my studio I had at the time, with another cat named Ramel, which Ramel was a cool dude that I don't know where he is right now, but he was one of the first guys I was doing music with back in the day. But anyway, so Dressar the Monumental, he was a really dope, like just on big, high levels.
Yeah.
And I don't talk to him, and if I saw him in public, we might not even say what up. But I know he knows, probably who I am, and I know who he is. But I just had to shout his name because such quality music. And Wong is a liaison. Like Long works with him a lot. I think he's done artwork with, for him. They've made music together. But I had to mention that because I remember last time we were here, I like to try to mention all the heads that I know, and
Hmm.
yeah, that dude's really good too. And have you had him on the show?
I haven't, but I need to because I got
Yeah,
Droop
dude.
on the show, and Droop said, "No, you need to get Dressar on the
Yeah,
show."
dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Again, he's just since day one, just like, yeah, real skilled dude with, yeah, his style's like his own styles. Like I don't even know, I can't compare him.
Yep. Nah, he's an artist.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah, yeah.
saying? Yeah, he's like really dialing it. And shout out to him because he's doing a radio show on Humboldt Hot Air.
Oh, is he okay?
Him and Droop every Saturday 6 p.m. It'll be this is Sunday, so we missed it yesterday. But yeah, every Saturday 6 p.m. tune in HumboldtHotAir.org. Dressar and Droop are in there spinning vinyl, and I mean just killing
Okay,
it. Like
I'm gonna
it's
check it
gonna
out.
be a good time.
Yeah, yeah. I know Jasar's an amazing DJ as well. Like for years I've seen him DJ at different spots. Like when there was the hip hop spots that were underground and but it was packed and you didn't know and you had someone tell you like you go in the depths and there'd be just people in there and he would be DJing in there, just in it.
Heck yeah.
Made it was like influential. Made you like, dang, I want to do that. And
That's
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that's just another one of those gyms out here where you get folks out here with the talent level out here, man. Is
Yeah.
people really don't understand it unless you're really involved in Humboldt hip
Right.
hop.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy how much we've had come through here. I've come through like you were with Sarge on there talking about Mike and I, and like I didn't know I didn't know much about Mike and I when till Jay got with him, and then I started researching, finding out like, wow, man, this guy. When I watched Yo MTV Raps back in the day, right, and I
Hmm.
watched all the videos, right, I watched all the videos over and over. I didn't know he was one of the dudes in the groups that had a song, video. What was the name of the group? Was do you know the name of the group he was in?
Not talking living legends, are we?
No, gosh, because they were the group on there that like they were doing jazz with their rhymes.
Oh, okay.
Like they were like Micah Nine he was like a human saxophone flute, but their rhymes coming out of his mouth, right? It's crazy. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm sad that I don't remember the name of the group that they had a video on MTV Raps, and when I realized, like, man, you've been around and you were on. I mean, that was to be on MTV Raps, you had to be the biggest of the biggest hip hop
Right.
on MTV. When you were watching it, like, if you're on that, then
You
you
reached
should be
it.
well. Yeah, you've reached it. And oh well, I feel so bad that I don't know the name of that group because it's a totally respectable, like, famous group. But yeah, just the fact I got to have Mike and I on a couple of my beats that Sarge had gotten from me, was pretty neat.
See, that's dope.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
yeah,
Shout out to Jay the Sarge again, though, man. Like he's been so integral to this whole entire scene. I definitely feel anybody that's listening to this that may have watched the Jay the Sarge episode that just came out a short while ago on YouTube, like it honestly doesn't do Jay the Sarge justice in terms of like we're gonna do a second and a third and a fourth
yeah. You
episode
should.
because he's done a lot for this culture.
Yeah, dude. Just my little Sarge segue is we were doing so Dirty Routes were doing our shows, whatever, and then People on the Bills was like Optimistic Populace, which was they talked about him and Pendragon, and
Hmm.
Gil is a really cool dude. I know Gil, super nice guy, dude. He had brought. Not only was he a good MC, but he also had Nocturnum here, who brought just tons of artists and gave us lots of shows and opportunities. So shout out to Gil Miracle,
Yeah.
great dude. Brought lots of opportunities. Got a good heart.
Just held it down for the Oyster Fest. Did a lot of organize. I think he might have been actually the main organizer for the Oyster
Is
Fest.
he? I didn't even know that until that podcast I heard. I was like, that makes sense. He should be doing something because he's just so good with people
Yeah.
and he's got a good drive. Like he does stuff. But I remember meeting those guys, and then we would be on the same bill together. Sarge had long hair at that time,
Oh,
which is
shoot.
pretty funny because Sarge, like when Sarge, he's all cut, high and tight. It's like he looks like Sarge, he acts like Sarge.
Right.
But when I met him, he had like long hair, like Eli, kind of.
Oh
It was
shoot.
kind of a trip, and he had the studio in Eureka. Like there was like an old like a house on I think it was like Spring Street or California, here in town, and then in the back was like this mother-in-law unit where Sarge's studio was. So like whoever was in the house, it was like a gal he knew, friends or whatever, and then he didn't even live there, but he rented the space Did he talk about this? Okay.
Uh-uh.
So he rented this space, and so we were already at Dirty Rats having pretty nice, decent studios. Like I wasn't foreign to nice equipment, a good studio, but we made a, like, hey, let's do something together. I went to a studio, and man, it was like the vibe in there was like, you walk in, it's all soundproof. He's got like room for vocal booth. He's got, if you're a band, and the ISO booth for like guitar player and bass player, and then a control room. And he had like the, Pro Tools going, and just really dialed nice studio, and good vibe. We had a good time in there, man. Man, that guy would have so many things going of what was it, Strawberry Cough. I remember that place and smell.
Oh yeah.
Dude, and he would I just like, I don't know how we're getting anything done in here. And it was just, that was just the half the thing. So the creating music was fun, but the hanging out was just as much fun. So that I had lots of good memories with Sarge at that studio. I have to say. And then Mike and Nine came through there. I got to be in the studio, work with them when they were doing Magic Heart Genies. That was really special. There was lots of talent. Z-Man would come through there too sometimes.
Oh shoot.
And now Sarge's studio. I don't know. Have you been to Sarge's studio yet? Okay, yeah. That studio, Sarge's studio now is amazing. Like, that's probably my. I hate to pick studios. I haven't been to Juicebox Studio, which I know I've heard is really nice. But I love Jay the Sarge's studio now. It's even a higher level than that one in Eureka.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's just like a full drum room, nice control room. It's just a great vibe. I went in there with Steamer, and we split some studio time, and I made a song with him, Steamer, and his wife, which is going to be coming out here soon.
Oh, dope.
I think it's called Watershed is what it's called. So it's my beat, them two on it.
Oh, hell yeah. Shout out to Empress Lee and Steamer.
Yeah, both of them. We had such a good time. I think we had like 2 or 3 hours of studio with Sarge, and Sarge is such a good engineer too. That's just another hat he wears, and just real comfortable, makes everybody comfortable and professional. And man, they did a good job. Steamer knocked his stuff out. Empress Lee was super impressive, man. But I didn't know what to expect. They were my neighbors for a long time. When I lived in Eureka, we were neighbors, and I didn't even know that I knew from Area Sound, but I didn't realize that he was in Area Sound until like we might have lived like a half a year right across from each other. Didn't even talk, But then we found out that he was from Area Sound, and then I started talking to him, and then met her. So that relationship kind of definitely grew and grew, and now we've definitely done more stuff together. But man, she in the studio, I didn't know what to expect, and she was just practicing through the song, and it was so good, and her inflections were so perfect that I wish I had recorded that on my phone, because it was so good. It sounded like she definitely grew up in the Bay or somewhere, like she had flavor that wasn't Humboldt County flavor.
Yeah.
It was like wherever she's from, Southern Cal or something.
Yeah. See, that's one of the things too that I love about Humboldt County hip hop, man, is that there's definitely the people that are homegrown.
Yeah.
But then there's also like the people that are bringing a little bit of soul from like the Bay, like you got Knack One.
Yep. Right. Yeah. Obviously, he's Humboldt, but you can tell his uniform comes from the Bay, though.
And I didn't even know that Empress Lee was from the Bay. And
totally.
That. So,
and you could hear it, which is good, because Humboldt. It's good to be from Humboldt and have your sound, because Humboldt's definitely got a unique sound. Humboldt's like a sound where you can't put a finger on it. It's like it's trying to find itself, but it is itself. But it's drawing from all these other areas, to where when you come from the Bay or other places like that, you've just got such ingrown, like deep, just generations of good music. Like at the top levels of good music, that it's just in you. And luckily for me, I grew up in Arizona, in Tucson, with my mom, who had like crates and crates of records. And as a kid, I was free to she never was like, you can't play this or don't do that. She let me free to everything. So I had like some Van Halen going up in, some Elton John, some Earth, Wind and Fire, Commodores, every Anita Baker, Black Sabbath, like everything my mom had right there. The only thing I added to her collection was like when the Run DMC album, came out, and a couple of my Grandmaster Flash and stuff. But But yeah, I was definitely, so for me coming to Humboldt, even though I've been here a long time, I have to give the fact that I came from an area though that had lots of music. It wasn't just what Humboldt had to offer. I was getting what the world really was, from my mom, just so much music.
Yeah.
Everything.
No, that's one of the things about Humboldt, man, is that you got to think about we have so many artists around here. They had y'all have your influences from somewhere,
Right.
and a lot of those influences kind of coincide because there's
Yeah.
only so many. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's classic rock as your influence, or you know what I'm saying, jazz and R&B, or
And
more of
classic
your
rock
influences.
was kind of reign supreme when I moved here. That and country, right? That was like, yeah,
It around here.
yeah,
You know what I'm
absolute
saying?
country and classic rock was it.
Yep.
And then reggae and reggae too, right? Like I can't say that reggae didn't.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I'd say I'd hate to put time frames on it being professional, but yeah, definitely like '90s, reggae just then took over, right? Kind of in a way.
Yeah. No, I agree, and that was one of the things too that you heard that Jay the Sarge podcast. But I've been stoked to see reggae, whether it's from Jay the Sarge's efforts or just other shout out to LG
Yep.
that be doing parties
LG
and everything like
Productions,
that.
yep,
Like
yep.
we need people continuing to move the scene forward up here. And so if we don't have Jay the Sarge and LG doing shows,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, who else is doing reggae shows around
Right.
here? Like that's really
You
it.
could just drop off the end
It really would.
until something else starts hitting.
Right. That goes back to that's why we need the youth out there learning how to DJ. We need people out there, the next generations of this
Absolutely.
holding it down because we got Juice out there that's doing it. That generation's holding that shit down. City Hippie,
Yes.
Rowdy,
Yeah.
those cats are doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then also, okay, so in like, you know what I'm saying, 10 years, there's going to be the next iteration. There's going to be the next set of, folks that have been going and recording at the Mars Project. Shout out to Corey down at the Mars Project. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we just need to make sure, number one, that infrastructure stays intact. The Mars Project, the Fat Bowl Cypher, you know what I'm saying? Any other shows too, because other than like, the ciphers, like we also got to have, shows where, artists can get in their bag for a while and come out like to these HipHopHumboldt shows and, do 4 or 5 or 6 songs and you can get in your bag, you know what I'm saying,
Definitely,
and do a dope show. Like we want to make sure that all aspects, I'm just, me, I'm just trying to always just move hip hop forward in Humboldt County and just help the bar just consistently move forward. And so, that's why I want to give a quick shout out to Franco. We talked about Franco a lot during this podcast because, you know what I'm saying, like what's the next thing going to be? Like that's my thing is what's next? Like, okay, so we've seen everything that's been done and there's what's been done, but what's the next thing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like to be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even trying to like be like, it's like we need to introduce like gimmicks. It's just a matter of like what has worked with hip hop. One of the things that has put different places on has been like battle rap. So again, shout out to Franco because he's one of the he's I mean, I don't want to say one of the best battle rappers around, but he's probably the best battle rapper around here.
Bro, Franco
Worldwide,
man,
he's top.
When you run when we used to run with Franco, dude, it was like, again, you see the Dirty Rats. We were kind of the bad news bears with Humboldt, in a way, because, we didn't really have a certain look, I don't know. It's kind of hard to figure out. But, man, once that dude hit the stage and was rhyming and freestyling, and then some, people would come at him, like, other crews would, like, send their dude on stage, like, dude, ain't nobody handled him. Nobody could handle him. And then he'd go out, you'd see him, I'd see him do battles, like, in Santa Barbara and in San Jose and different places. And, he would then find people that were on his level, but still you could never come at Franco not expecting that you might just get taken out,
right?
Because I don't care who you were, dude. Man, he was good. Man, he was good, dude. What's funny about Franco is when I made those first 2 albums with him, and I was just at the beginning stages of producer. I have to admit, Franco is a fun dude to be around, but then he was also sometimes a hard dude to be around a little bit. But I always thought, well, don't let it frustrate you because I'm just starting here. I'm going to meet so many better people than Franco. I'm going to meet so many, on my road, right? But here I am 20 years later, and if I was to tell you some of the most talent I've ever been around, if I don't say Franco is probably the just raw talent I've ever been around. Never been around nothing that raw.
Yep.
Like, amazing. Like, what he was doing with the words coming out of his mouth in the moment, I've never seen anybody with that confidence that could do that, man.
And that's out of Humboldt County.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Folks don't realize one of the best rappers on. If y'all don't believe this, you can go on YouTube now and check out Franco. He's got some beat battles out, or I'm sorry, some rap battles out there, bro, where he's killing it.
Yes.
And I'm saying, so that's the thing. If what's the next thing? Is it gonna be like a battle rap scene? You know what I'm saying? Because that could be the thing. I haven't seen. See, I saw Franco twice last year. I saw Franco at the Afro Man show. He performed at the Afro Man show last year, and then I saw him at a Fat Bowl Cipher. I can't remember if that was last year or this year. You know what I'm saying? Because time is kind of ebb and flow. But you know what I'm saying? When you see Franco out there, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like, you got to get ready.
Yeah, yeah. Rex had showed me at your show some footage that he had took. There was, I think it was DJ M. Shout out to DJ M. I don't know him that well, but I've been with him before and shared a session at Fat Bowl Cipher, and he was super nice, helpful, kind. So anyways, he was DJing, and Franco was just got on the mic and was jumping on some beats he was playing or whatever. But man, even to this day, I don't know. I think it was just recent footage. He still killing it though. Like dang, dude, it's been a lot of years. It's hard as we get older to for your mouth and your mind to still be able to be that quick. You know, I mean, like dang, I'm forgetting names. That I shouldn't forget. So it's really impressive to see that he's still out there just wielding that weapon that he can.
At any point in time, you know what I'm saying? Y'all better not fool around out here. You get too cocky.
No, I've seen it, dude. I've seen it. And that's the funnest part is watch on stage. You just be this dude, he'd have these baggy pants, sweatshirt, hair might just, no style, just kind of just a little something. And the dude would be just like looking at him like, what this is what I'm going to deal with? Why? This is not, what am I doing here? And then Frank would just cut him. And then next thing you know, you can see the look on the dude's eyes, a little panicky, and the crowd's just like, they're just feeding into it. And then, it could get bad.
Yeah. He's a sleeper, that's for sure, man.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
You don't judge a book by its cover when you see Franco.
I think the only one I could compare to Franco's, like, just the strong wield of a weapon is, Knack. Of course, because, Knack.
Just freestyle.
Yeah, Knack, he ain't not one part of him that's not confident, or he ain't worried about nothing. It's just like he's going to rhyme for you.
Right.
He can take everything that he sees in front of him, worldly things that are going on, vibes that he's trying to captivate. Knowledge that he's kicking to you, obviously, and he has no problem. It's amazing to me.
Hey, I think for Knack One, shout out to Knack One because you know what I'm saying he's been in the trenches with hip hop.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? He's told me stories, you know what I'm saying, where you go to, you know what I'm saying, these cats up here, you got to be real thankful. Y'all got to be real thankful. You can go to the Fat Bowl Cipher.
Totally.
And go out there, and it ain't no pressure.
Good opportunity.
It's a great opportunity to just go out there and practice. No pressure, like I said, because, you know what I'm saying, like Nag One has told me stories, you know what I'm saying, where, you know what I'm saying, people take this cipher stuff for granted and everything like that. You go to it used to be, you go to a cipher in like the Bay Area or somewhere down in the big city, bro, you have to rap or they're going to fuck you up.
Yeah, and you're not even going to get a friendly chance to, like, step on the mic. Every time, dude, just like anybody, and then make them feel welcome, and regardless whether they delivered something mediocre or not, just give them the love,
Right.
And then you can see it in their face, like, oh, I needed that, like you were saying, and then they can want to come back.
I've seen
they got somewhere to go
every month, man. Every month, these MCs come out to the Fat Bowl Cipher, you know what I'm saying, and Knack One creates this positive environment for them where they're actually like, you know what I'm saying, like, oh no, like actually, this is where I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? We need that.
We need more of it. I know. Like I hung out with Highway sometimes, meet with him every now and again to go through some beats and stuff, and he admitted, he's like, I haven't really been going down as much. I know he has gone down before.
He's been hitting it,
but he was saying he was just saying it's just not necessarily his thing. It's like he's super talented, dude. The Highway's a fucking monster, but he was just saying it just wasn't so much his thing sometimes, and I get it, and even like some of the rats, like I would be like, damn, wish you guys would come out and rap, and some of them, just I don't know what it is, they just. But I wish more people did because. It's really chill and easy, and even if you just bust out one verse on a, it just feels good.
Come do it. Yeah. Come get seen. That's the thing about the Fat Bowl Cipher now too, is that the months when I can get there, you know what I'm saying, I'm doing my little videos and everything like that. So come get seen. You know what I'm saying. That's the infrastructure in Humboldt County that we need. We need more infrastructure like that.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying. So whether it's you coming out spitting a written verse. Or if, off the dome, if you can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Come and, let people know what you're doing out
Some people are singing on there and not even, freestyle singing even. It's like, dude, don't have to be bashful, My daughter, when she's confident enough, I hope she'll get up on there, because I think that's where you get your your chops or whatever you want to say, right? It's just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe it's not a huge crowd every time, but like just the fact that you're doing it around the people that are participating, that's enough.
Yeah. And
You
it's
know?
and take that as a blessing too, though, that it's not like 100 people in
So,
there
yeah,
every time.
sometimes it's good. It's
That's
good
a lot of
way.
pressure. Yeah.
It's good practice. So for anybody that's like wants to be an MC, or you're trying to get your bearings up, dude, go to those ciphers as much as you can, because
Right.
it really help you. And by the time you do get your first show or your first couple shows, you already got breath control on the mic you've been practicing and all that stuff.
Yep, it gets easier and easier the more you do.
Yeah.
But until you even try it, that's why I really say, I'm not trying to say like the cipher is the place to just like start off, because what I'm saying, it's where you have to practice. You have to really practice your own self on your own time. You know what I'm saying? And then you go out to the inside cipher like Sequoia and Johnny Angel's doing down there under the bridge. You know what I'm saying? You go out there and it's very low pressure. You know what I'm saying? You just go out there and it's a circle of homies.
I've never been to that one. I would like to go to that one sometime and maybe bring like some beats or something. Even though I know they got beats, but I like the vibe. It's cool.
They
It's
would love your beats,
bunch
bro.
of cars and just dudes with it. They don't have
Yeah.
not trying to have a crowd, just doing it for themselves. Just,
Exactly, for the craft.
It's raw, dude. That's what's up.
Yep.
That's what those are cool things that we do have in Humboldt. That's pretty neat.
Yep.
I wish there was. I'm not saying I wish there was footage of it, because they probably like it the way it is. It's kind of more of a intimate. We're gonna share this now, and it's not for the people that aren't here. But
Right.
yeah, I definitely, if it was recorded, I'd be going back and listening to them and checking them out.
Yeah, no, they be killing it. I went to 2 last year, man, and the vibe is really positive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a really cool time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
is
saying? It's
cool.
just guys that are into the craft.
Yeah, like I don't know Sequoia really that well, but I've met him and he seems super nice. I really loved the pod that you guys did, and I've been passing some beats to Ruffian.
Yeah.
And he's
Shout out
told
to
me,
Ian.
yeah, he's a super nice guy. I haven't hung out with him too much, but we've been trying to collaborate a little bit. Like I said, I got him a handful of beats, and he says he's writing to some, and he says he does a lot of work out of Sequoias, and talks highly of Sequoia, and I hear the work that Sequoia does in there, like quality of the mixes sound really good, and
Yep.
I know he makes a lot of the music too, and he's talented in what he does with the music. So
Yep.
yeah,
Shout out to Shady Manila Records.
yeah, what a cool name. I like that. See, it's so neat to have like the Juice Box Studio and the Shady, and then I thought, were you doing something? Were you having like a?
No, I'm not really, I'm definitely hitting up the juice box if it comes to
Yeah,
recording
okay.
anything.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like you said though, like a lot of people just have recording setups.
Yeah, like Sarge's One Wise Studio. I think that's who he calls it.
Yep.
Before I forget too, I did want to. I had mentioned his name real quick. I'm also passing some beats to Verge.
Yeah.
Who I've seen him multiple times at the ciphers, and man, talk about, I don't want to compare him to Raw at all, but what I liked about Verge is like he really went intimate on some like there were some slow tempos, and almost like he's really going in on like some it's like, it wasn't like he's trying to be party guy out there caring about whatever like what people think. He was delivering to you what he had to offer,
His soul.
and it drew you in, his soul, and it drew you in, and I was really impressed with this set this last Patville cipher, man. It was so good.
Yeah, nah, he's a beast out there, man. That's the thing about Verge is that he can really take you. He's gonna go inside himself and pull out all the emotions that he's felt.
for
You know what
sure.
I'm saying? That's been inside him, and he's gonna pull it out and give it to you. And when you actually get that,
Yeah.
people don't understand. You know what I'm saying? You people may look at a music video and you're watching a music video and
Right.
everything like that. There's no exchange in that.
No.
You're just watching a visual.
No, you just want to look good, sound good.
Right. But when you're listening to Verge, whether it's
Yeah.
at the Fat Bowl Cypher, whether it's at the Inside Cypher, or whether you just come across Verge at another show or anywhere
Yeah.
else out in the world, you know what I'm saying? He's got that genuine energy where he's like, he actually cares about you as a person.
Yeah. His we've been texting back and forth, and he's super, just like seems kind,
Yep.
So yeah, hopefully I get to hang out with him a little bit more, but really was impressed with his steadily since I've seen him every time. I really like what he's doing. And then also who I've seen for a long time and I've know his stuff, but I hadn't really dug in and seen a whole set and I was super impressed with too, was Naquan's brother.
Yeah.
Dude, his whole set I wasn't expecting. It was like he was literally singing and also bringing you his soul. And also you can tell that he's from the Bay. He's not bringing you that Humboldt flavor so much. He's bringing you the Bay flavor.
Yeah, a little soul with it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He was really good, man. He had I was really impressed of just how he was able to sing. He was singing
Yeah.
and rhyming really good too. But
Yep. No, that's shout out to Cam is dope.
yeah,
That's
Cam
one of the
is
things.
super dope, dude.
He's super dope,
Man,
dude.
I knew he's. I seen videos. He's been doing videos, and I've been watching the videos, and I knew he's got like talent. And I know he's got, styles that are like he's been doing this for a long time. It's not like he's just picking up on this. Like he's been done it.
Yep.
But that set he did at the Fat Bowl thing, he might have only rhymed like twice, and the rest of it he was singing and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, wow, dude.
That's what I told Nat One a few months ago, man. I was like, when I was just coming up, because Cam's out here, he's hungry.
Yeah, he seems
He's
hungry.
moving it
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now. Like,
I could tell in the look in his eye.
yeah,
he told me.
And he's doing it right too. He's got the social media presence.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
doing it all. Actually, he's got the shop. You know what I'm saying? The gear shop
Yeah.
where you go in his shop and buy some gear. He's doing it right. He's where every Friday, unless I'm wrong, somebody can change. You can quote me if I'm wrong, or whatever. But every Friday he's dropping a new single, and there's a new piece of gear, a new piece of apparel available on his shop. That's the visual for the track.
Man.
And so, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of thing we need in Humboldt County.
yeah.
We need the bar moving up like
Right,
that.
because
you know what
that's
I'm saying?
showing that you're having to put the effort in and stay with it. That's
Right.
again, not to knock us. Sometimes that's hard. But we will be good here, but then not good there. And it's like, yeah, if you're gonna make the music nowadays, a visual is gonna really help.
Yep.
So get that all out and have it all organized at the right time, because it means a lot. And so you're right. If you're pushing right now, like Cam is, like to have merch, to have the visual, to have the song, and it's every week, and now it compounds on, and it makes you more in your head, be like, dude, this guy is, well worth my time as being in my playlist, and for me to tell other people about. Yeah, he's doing it the right way.
It really is. And then, separate from that, not separate from it, but a part of it is, what I'm saying, on the back end, a lot of people don't see the work and the time that he's having to put in to actually make all that happen.
Yeah.
Between making the music, between, what I'm saying, I ain't trying to, tell the game out there, but I'm just saying, like, what I'm saying, to be able to have apparel available in your shop on the same day that the track drops. There's coordination involved.
Follow
with all
through,
that.
man, and
Yeah.
follow through is everything. I mean, I don't know about you, but just I can tell by your house you have a lot of follow through because it's real clean. But follow through is a big thing, you know what I mean? Because it's like not every day do we follow through with things. Sometimes you're like, oh, we're gonna get this project out this summer. Next thing you know, it's the end of the summer and. It ain't out yet.
Yeah. No, I know. No, I feel you. And actually, that's that. So that's one thing where I was actually talking about that in the podcast episode I recorded at the Juice Box night before last, where with Ezra Hollis from he's with Arcane Artists. They've been running the party scene out here for a couple of years now. They've been running it. But so what I'm saying, like he's just like I was telling him there's this concept out there called the stallion effect, where artists want to just tend to just like drop art. They want to do their art and they want to do more art and drop their art.
They just want to do that.
And they want to do that.
They're hoping you all run with it.
Right.
Right.
And but nowadays the whole game is different. I don't want to say unfortunately, fortunately, whatever it is just is what it is. But social media is highly intertwined with being able to get your brand out there and reach people.
Right.
So you have to actually do that. You have to actually take time to put into the social media. You actually have to do all that. And so like there's the artists that are just like making art, and I'm just gonna make art and hope people pick up on it, like you said. Or that's like the stallion effect, is people that just keep doing that. You have to set goals.
Yeah.
If your goal is like, all right, you're running a brand as a musician, even if you're in a group, what I'm saying, like the Dirty Rats, for instance, what I'm saying, like all the Dirty Rats are in the band. So everyone's vested in that brand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then separate from that, like, Kush is out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to split it up. I'm just saying Callus is out there. Everybody's got their own individual thing too.
Right.
So when you're moving that forward, you actually have to set some goals. You have to actually say, you know what I'm saying, like, if my young homie that's out there that's just hitting the scene, if he wants to grow his YouTube presence, then he has to set some goals and say, this is what I'm going to do. This is the plan I'm going to make. I'm going to drop X amount of content on YouTube over this amount of time. And you set some goals, and then you accomplish those goals, and you continue to accomplish those goals to finally get to where you want to be.
Yes.
You have to. Otherwise, you're just doing, because the music nowadays, man, like, we've talked about this on the pod, but like the music nowadays is it's more just like marketing. It's the marketing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to
Yeah.
make some money on it, you got to like get into some gear, making gear.
Yeah, because no one's looking for you necessarily, right?
Right.
No one's like like you said, you could keep dropping the art. That doesn't mean that someone's gonna pick up that vein and start like wanting to eat off it.
Right.
You got to put it out. It's got to be like we're just at home in the ear from someone else. It's got to come from all these areas. And the only way it's going to do that is if, like you said, consistently you're putting your stuff out respectfully,
Yep.
right? The right way.
And that's hard to do. It's exhausting, man. Let me
It
tell you
is,
what.
dude. I can, yeah, dude. And that, again, I'm grateful for Cal because he takes a lot of that brunt of getting things out a lot of times, and Wong for getting the artwork down, and then all these other guys like Mr. Ocean that pushes people, and all these guys help out, and I make the beats, and a lot of people, it's funny, they're real grateful to me, and they always give me a lot of love, and I appreciate it, but I feel bad sometimes because I go home, I got some off time, I make some beats, and then I just give it to them, and then a lot of times that's where I let lie sometimes, and I need to do, it's like I know I should be helping more and
It's
post
a
shit
team
online.
effort.
It's hard. You think 7 of us, we just have our game on lock because there's enough of us to do all the duties, but yeah,
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's hard, but it really isn't hard if you really, like you said, if you just set the goals, you start doing the exercise to do it. Like I'm gonna sit at my computer and I'm gonna upload this and I'm gonna email that and then I'm gonna set my goal and then it's like it's definitely doable. But yeah, it's sometimes hard for me to put my energy out on making the beats, then to do some of that, then to make sure my wife, shout out to my wife because she's definitely been wonderful through this career,
Yeah.
because not everybody's understanding about your music, and my kids too. So yeah, it's just that's why I give it to when I heard that juice that one that you had. I don't know which one it was. I don't know if it was all the City Hippie guys, but it was just a really good pod that you had because they gave a lot of gems on how they do it and what they've been doing, and it definitely is what it takes,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time on the computer, and a lot of time you don't get like right back that shows you, oh, here's you were there for 2 hours, well here's $50.
Right.
You don't get that right away,
Right.
It could be 3 years down the road that you might get that time paid back.
Exactly. No, I know. It's so interesting nowadays too. That's a part of it, right? It's like it's so intertwined with social media, and so you have to you have to keep some content going and flowing, so that way people are staying, keeping their attention on
Yeah.
where you want them to be.
Yeah.
And that takes time, man. Just for instance, what I'm saying, like before, we started this podcast, I was spending a couple hours, I was just in the new party spot with the boy Height, what I'm saying? And he's trying to blow that up. And so I'm just taking all the different video content that I took from it and like just making like videos, and that takes time.
Jeez.
It's time behind the scenes. Just like you said, shout out to your lady,
Yeah.
shout out to all of our partners,
Yes.
whether it's, women or the partners that support all the artists out here that what I'm saying, because that's the behind the scenes that nobody sees.
Right.
That's a lot of effort that's being put in to take care of families, what I'm
So
saying,
many
households,
times, yeah.
while the artist can get the music done and the craft done.
Yeah, because you're not always bringing back again money, but for me, I know my wife knows that I love doing it, and so yeah, it can be frustrating at times to be like, oh, you're practicing again this week, and then your show's on the weekend. But I know she knows that I really love it, and so that being said, it's important. She lets me do these things or whatever. I shouldn't say lets, but you know what I mean. Like,
Support you.
supports because if
Yeah.
you have static going on at home about your music, then it's hard to create. It's just hard to do stuff.
Yeah.
It can make you want to quit, right? Because what are we doing here?
Right.
If music's the enemy. And I've seen that side too. When we were doing a lot of shows, and I had my first kid. It was definitely hard on my wife because to perform a good show, you got to practice. That's like, if you got a show coming in a month, you need to practice for those at least twice in those weeks, right? So
Oh yeah.
coordinating times away from the house 2 weeks in a row, and then the show, yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. Oh yeah. No, it gets to be a lot. And there's again, shout out to the people behind the scenes, whether
Yeah.
you're in front of or behind the scenes, but that have supported
Yeah, for
hip hop
sure.
in Humboldt County, because we see the artists, we see the people
Yeah.
that are doing the shows and everything like that, but there's so many more people involved with the
Yeah.
entire process.
A lot of growth, a lot of relationships that don't make it or off or or often than on.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard to sell someone on that this is what I do. They're like, cool. Well, you're making hip hop. You're 50 almost. Well, like, how does this pay the bills? That's the hard part sometimes. But like I always tell people is like when I'm 50 or when I was in my 20s talking to somebody who's 50 and they listen to jazz or they listen to classic rock, does that mean now that I'm going to be 50, I got to listen to only jazz and classic rock? I can't be listening to hip hop. I grew up in hip hop.
Right.
That's what I listened to. That's the thing that's so frustrating sometimes when they say hip hop's like for the young, or it's like, bro, like this is what I grew up listening to.
Right.
I'm not gonna listen.
I'm not gonna stop.
I'm not gonna go listen to Bing Crosby. I got shout outs to Bing Crosby or whatever, but like that's not what I grew up on. So
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and listen to what I grew up on. So thank you very much. I know I'm almost 50, but and some of the guys rapping like even Wong says he has a little hard time. Like I'm 50 and like it's hard to like tell people I'm rapping. But I'm like, but
It shouldn't be though. I know it's like that because the thing about it is that hip hop is always, to an extent, it's a counterculture, so it's always there's elements of hip hop that's like popping, that's like popular,
right.
that's young, youthful, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
and so that it tends to be like, you know what I'm saying, especially to people, like us that are over 35.
Yeah.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like it ends up being like, you see it as a separation of things. Really, in reality, though, it's a flow of energy because those young artists have a lot that they can actually learn and soak in from the OGs that have been doing it,
Right.
and actually it goes vice versa too.
Yeah.
There's things the OGs could soak in from
Absolutely.
the young artists.
That's why I try when I'm always trying to listen to the new albums coming out, whether Trenton's giving me what he likes, like Trippie Redd, right? Like I wasn't really tuned in to Trippie Redd, but my son's been listening to Trippie Redd since he was, since he was young, and
Yeah.
I like Trippie Redd, I really do. He's got a lot of good music. When I first saw him at the time, I was like, well, I don't know, or even like Juice World, like at the time, like Juice World, I don't know, you're an old head, so it takes you a minute, but now it's like, yeah, it's quality, good music.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad, that we lost him when we did. I think that dude would have, I don't want to compare him to Tupac, but I think he would have had a
big following.
big following. So it's like you have to pay attention to the young stuff. Otherwise, especially if you're a DJ or anything like that, you don't know what to play anybody. You don't know what to do. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to play only like my old Outkast stuff, which I love Outkast, but I know now, like if I'm playing a set, dude, I'm gonna have maybe some Trippie Redd, some Juice World, some I don't know, I could like Conway and West Side and all that stuff.
Yep.
So you got to pay attention to the young. If you don't pay attention to the young, then you're not helping yourself out to deliver a good product of music to anybody.
Right.
By always sounding just like from what you are comfortable knowing.
Right. Hip hop is the opposite of that. Hip hop is stepping out of your box.
Absolutely. And learning. Like if Blueface came out, like I can't say I'm really into Blueface, to be honest with you, still at this point.
Yeah, I feel you.
And when I first heard this stuff, I was like, oh my God, this is.
Know.
But
how did that become a lane? Like not even rapping to the beat.
Right.
How did that become a lane?
But I have to say there has been a track that I heard Blueface on and I was like, damn, that's Blue. Okay, I like this. So
yeah,
even Blueface,
it does fit.
Yeah. So even a Blueface track, I'll give props to sometimes, and
right.
Again, so yeah.
There's got to be less hate in between the generations in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be more like everybody learning from everybody.
Totally.
That's so crazy, man. Just hearing you talk about like you learn from your boy. Or from your son, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's popping? I do the same thing with my kid. And I may not like it, bro. Like, I don't even know what all this, like, Babytron or whatever all this stuff is. And all this.
Babytron. I haven't really dug into him, but yeah.
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 I don't know it, but, you know what I'm saying? At least I understand, okay, that's what's popping to these dudes. They be talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you got to let it in at some point. You can't, then you really start to be an old head when you're like, okay, that's not hip hop.
Right. Yeah. You can't do that because. Yeah. Hip hop has always been anything, everything, and what's to come. You can't. That's like to only base on boom bap to be the only respectable. That's like I do love boom bap stuff and all, but like, and I know a lot of people will be like, well, the golden age, that's what we want to represent as far as the hip hop, but. I mean, hip hop is whatever is 10 years from now is, whatever 20 years from now, whatever they transform it into, that's what it's going to be.
Right.
And it's always been that way. So.
a lot of heads, and again, I ain't trying to like say like old heads. I'm just saying because I'm an old head for all the intents and purposes, practically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of heads, I was listening to this conversation where this woman was saying, whether it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people that have, what I'm saying, like my age or older, have got to be ready for the young generation saying the top five includes like Future and Young Thug.
I was just gonna say
You
Future. Like you can't say Future's not hip hop.
Right.
I mean, even though it might not sound like something that Nas and AZ is doing. It's a different style, but it's still hip hop though.
Yep. And it's got so many fans out there. It's just hip hop has evolved so much over the years. What I'm saying? It's not like it used to be. Even to these crazy things like we were talking about earlier with the lip syncing thing, dude. I think it's so crazy to me because just for like instance, like for me, like that was one of the points I was making earlier when we were talking about like Total Devastation and the Slap Frost tour was, I saw the homeboy from the Total Devastation go up there. Bernie couldn't play because he got strep throat or something like that. His throat went out, so the other homeboy was up there, and there was no lip syncing going on. Chris was up there and he killed it. No lip syncing, and it was effortless.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So it's just like effortless. So I see that.
Yeah, because his craft, he's just got it locked.
He knows it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and he's got the talent and the skill to be able to just do it without it. But then also what's the trip about it, man, is I look at this shit and I'm like, man, like I look at these little apps, Instagram and all this different stuff, man, and like they have these categories and everything like that. When you post like a reel, there's like categories, topics that you can like put with and everything like that. And like one of the categories is lip syncing, right? You know what I'm saying? So like that's I swear like this lip syncing thing is becoming like a lane.
Wow.
And that's so interesting to me, and it's just like the game has changed.
Wow,
where
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm like I would have hoped there was like something else before I see lip syncing. Whether I'm seeing just like you said, like boom bap, or what I'm saying, whether even just trap.
Trap, yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something like that compared to lip syncing as a category.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
weird.
Man.
Yeah,
and so it's just really showing that the game is so diluted at this point where folks aren't even. It's not even like I'm not even. You could hop in the game,
right?
Not even care about creating your lyrics, not even care about creating a beat. You could just perform somebody else's track.
Yeah. And
that's a whole lane. See, that's interesting to me, man, because there's talent.
Like hip hop cover band or something.
Right, literally. Shout out to Swizlo. Brian Swizlo is one of the ones in Humboldt County that got it changed. I believe it was on the North Coast Journal's Best Of, not this year, but the last year. He got it changed to where there was Best Original Band versus Best Cover Band.
Oh, right, totally makes sense.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
That's a whole. How could you have not the separation and then like a cover band win?
Yeah, I mean it takes talent obviously to play the instruments to it, but like creating the whole content that the crowd is vibing on is a different story if you're just taking another man's compared to having to assemble it yourself and then build them to like it. Yeah, it's definitely night and day. But
yeah, and it's out there in Humboldt County because there's just so much music, there's so much art that there are cover bands out there.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? There's a decent amount of them, at least like around a dozen. And so that's an entire lane.
Right.
So it's so interesting to see, like, what I'm saying? There's like the Zeppelellas.
Right, I was just going to say that the girls that do the Zeppelin, I've heard good stuff about them. I heard they're really good.
Yeah, they're fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not like a cover band.
Right.
Well, it's so interesting because, I guess maybe somebody could say they are, but I don't feel they are because they're like, they're paving a whole different lane.
Yeah, yeah.
If it was like some dudes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, they're coming at you with the because it's hard. I mean, playing the music that Zeppelin had made is still impressive to be able to play on a guitar and all that drums and. So if and then girls, right? Who doesn't want to watch a bunch of girls kill it on stage?
Right.
So yeah, I could see where they found their lane for sure.
Right. So that's not to me like as cover bandish as like, what I'm saying, like a band that's just their thing is covering.
They're just
other
doing like
songs.
Skynyrd songs in Alabama.
Right. And you see that in Humboldt County sometimes. As a lane for it, I got respect for anybody who's going to get up on a stage and make themselves vulnerable.
Me too, dude. I recently, which I have to make a shout out to Ryan Rice, a dude that is a country singer around here. His son, he was coaching at Hydesville, my son's basketball team, and my wife is actually assistant coaching. And he's a country singer. He's good. He's a very good songwriter. And recently, we just been collaborating a little bit, and I've been running sound for him on some of his shows, which has been neat because it gets me out of my regular the hip hop crowd, which I love too. But this puts me in a different area. I'm still taking in the music, still appreciate the crowds, and it's been fun. So shout out to Ryan Rice. Thanks, bro, for letting me run sound.
That's it. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. See, that's one of the things too for anybody listening to this episode. I want y'all to understand. See, when you learn these skills, whether you're stepping into Humboldt County Hip Hop and you're an artist and you start to learn skills, how to work things on the stage, sound, tips and things that you got to learn for running sound and stuff like that. That makes you so much more versatile moving forward. You want to come out, y'all want to come out and learn the craft.
You do.
You just don't want to think, that you're just like a pro and you're just going to come out to a show. You're going to get a rude awakening.
Absolutely.
It ain't easy coming out performing, making sure the sound is dialed for your show and everything like that. A lot of people don't even do that, and I get it. It's a whole different lane. Shout out to Tofu. Shout out to the dude, Mo Hollis, that be killing it out there. The dudes, sound dudes, Chris Pereira, Gonzo from Siren Song, people out there that are running sound for events. That's a lane, and it's crucial.
It's a huge lane. It's very crucial because I can't tell you how many Dirty Rat shows back in the day we would go on, right? You do sound check, and there'd be 6 rats with mics or whatever, or usually you could only get 4 mics. Guys have to switch, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We'd set up the sound guy be cool, but as soon as the show would start, it's like the sound guy, maybe he's not a fan of hip hop, whatever. Maybe he's not really paying attention. And so you got 4 guys on a song, and then the guy, everybody's voice is higher or lower. Next guy on the mic, you can't hear him at all. And now he's gone through his whole half verse for the sound guy even. He, like maybe he's talking to somebody, maybe he's not into the music. I don't know what it is, but by not having a sound guy there and tuned with your set, he's a major instrument because you just practiced 3-4 weeks of all your verses. You had 6 verses in your set. You delivered 2 of them in the show, and 2 of them they didn't hear because the sound guy wasn't respecting the fact that just because you did a sound check don't mean that everything's going to be all good.
Right.
I mean, also when people come in the room, when you have a crowd in a room, the bodies suck in the sound, and that changes the sound too. So there's all these things that happen for you really want a sound guy to hopefully have respect to want to be, collaborating with you.
Yep.
Because otherwise you could lose half your set by a sound guy not paying attention to who's quieter or louder on the mic.
Yep. Nah, a sound guy, without a sound guy or the wrong sound guy or something happening with sound could kill your whole show.
Yeah. And a lot of times back when we used to do back shows like early hip hop days, some sound guys just like, what are you guys, where's your instrument? No instruments? Like, it's like almost they don't want it, just like you're just gonna hold your junk and walk around and do your rhymes. Cool. That's how they would perceive us, even though that wasn't us, but that's what they'd seen on TV, and so it was hard to get the respect of having the sound guy have his attention fully on the whole set.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not so. Now I feel like sound guys have been really good. Like the guy that was at your show, I don't know what his name was.
Chris Pereira. Shout out to Chris.
Yeah,
P.
he was very good. Very good.
He's one of the best sound guys around. He does sound for Object Heavy.
Yes, he's very good.
Yeah.
He paid attention to all the nuances and everything, made everybody comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah, and stayed in through the whole show. He wasn't slipping.
Yep. No, he was on it, man.
Yeah.
And that's what you pay for when you pay for a good sound guy. And that's what, what I'm saying, like, just like I said, like, for artists out there, what I'm saying, that's a lane where you might just want to learn some of the most basic things, so that way you can do things on the stage and not have to rely on a sound guy when you can avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's money in the bank.
Yep. That's true. Shout outs to good sound guys, because that's definitely something else.
Yep. You could run a small show and maybe get away with it, but you're not gonna get away with it at a medium to a big size show without a good sound guy. Your shit will fail.
Gosh, I've been so many shows where we were responsible for the sound. Sometimes, it's just a throw together show, a party or something like that. Man, technical difficulties sometimes can be nerve wracking.
Yeah. No, that's actually, I'm saying, we was talking about Cypress Hill because Dirty Rats, was performing before Cypress Hill a few years ago. I saw Cypress Hill separately at the Kaya Fest. Back in 2018, it was the Marley Sons putting together a big old concert in San Bernardino, and so it was like 10,000 people there. It was a big concert.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It was, You know that the whole tragedy that happened with the Astro World thing, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
like that. This
Yeah.
was like a couple years right before that, if not a year right before that, and it was crazy because I remember being in that crowd, and me and my lady are like, we're into shows, so we're gonna go
Yeah.
and like slowly like push and move to the front.
Yeah. Get that.
And so we were in the front of that thing, and it's like the wave, like it just people started to push, and it was like a wave, and then you're like caught up. And I remember twice where I was no longer on the ground, no longer had control of
Wow.
myself and everything like that. And fortunately, it was only like the first time it was like 2 seconds, and then the second time it was like 5 seconds. It
Yeah.
was minimal.
That's crazy.
But it gets scary, dude. You're like, whoa, what if something happened? I was just literally just like in a big just group of people just kind of rolling with it for a few seconds there. Like, I hope I don't fall.
That's
you know?
nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. Some people saying that where you're literally off the ground. I've never been in that one myself, but that's crazy.
Yeah, I hope I don't deal with that again. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep shows safer than that.
Anxiety would set in on that a little bit for me.
Yeah, for real. No, it did. Like after like 5 seconds and it didn't stop, then you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? And then it stops, but at least. But that's why we got to make sure that these events are safe in Humboldt County.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure the sound is dialed.
Right.
So you got to go to the right sound guys, whether it's like Tofu, Chris Pereira, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shiny, you know what I'm saying? He can fuck with some sound, you know what I'm saying? Adam, shout out to Adam down at the Jam.
Yeah, I remember Adam.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's a few dudes around here that know what they're doing. So you got to tap them.
I feel like we've definitely, the sound guys have gotten pretty good around here. I haven't run into any bad situations in the last 10 years.
See, that's good.
Yeah. Speaking of, I was to say on the Astroworld thing, you see that his new album, he's trying to release it on the pyramids or something?
Yeah, Travis Scott, yep.
And now there's this thing, are they going to let him, or are they not going to let him? Like, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about this, like, because there's a lot of money into this, right?
Right.
I mean, this guy's got, it's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But
millions of dollars involved with this album.
Right.
You
But
know?
but I guess the people around the pyramids are not happy with it or something. They don't like the idea of somebody just from America coming and using their pyramids as like a set, you know.
Right.
So it's gonna be interesting to see if he gets to do it, because I know he's got all the money out there and everything's in motion, but there's a little bit of backlash that's been coming.
Yep.
I hope he gets to do it because it'd be pretty neat. But
it would be interesting, you know what I'm saying? And there's other things too, you know what I'm saying? Depending on how I ain't trying to take us down a rabbit hole, you know what I'm saying? But like when it comes to that, like I was talking to my boy, like I said, my boy Height last night. I ain't trying to just tell y'all what he be on and everything like that, but he was just like, he was talking about the Grand Canyon.
Oof.
And he was telling me some stuff, man, where he was like, nah, that was the pyramids. Used to be the pyramids and everything like that and everything, but they got washed away and everything like that. So
man, I believe it, dude. I'm coming from Arizona where I was born at, and we've definitely gone Grand Canyon a couple times. And when you walk down, which I've done once, where you walk down to the Grand, that level of in the Grand Canyon, there's some energy there. It's strange and kind of crazy. Like it don't just seem like regular. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of that though, about them being pyramids before, but I believe that could make sense. I mean,
yeah, there's so much more that we don't know.
There's so much more of our history, bro, that we do not have any idea of, and it's too bad of how much in our lifetime that they shove down our throat of what history is and what we should research on and study on. You know, it's just too bad.
Yeah,
because
it's really like pigeonholing everybody
into
this one thing when actually there's a few people, somebody out there knows what's actually happened on some level. Know?
But they should leave that more as like, we're going to give you this information as we're just going to offer it to you, but not tell you this, because unless you're there or talk to somebody there at some of these situations that they teach on, it's really hard to take any of that information as being like, I'm going to argue with you about it.
Right.
That's the one thing about, you know, when you talk about politics and worldly stuff, I don't have much patience on it, because I can't argue with somebody that is going to fight somebody over some information that they're just standing behind, you know, whether it be Republican or Democrat. It's like,
see, that's the thing. That's what I tell people too. We're so far down the matrix now. There's gonna be all kinds of people that believe all kinds of different things.
I know.
They're like stuck. You know.
Right, like the flat Earth people. Like, I can't. You know, yeah, it sounds crazy, but I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe that shit is flat.
I know.
I'm not gonna argue with somebody and tell me it ain't.
I know. No, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I've never been in a spaceship up to sea.
Me neither.
Or any of it. You know what I'm saying?
Whether we landed on the moon, did or didn't, I really, I like talking about it. It's really neat to talk to people about stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely, I don't like taking anybody's information as being the word, right?
Right.
I can tell you at that show that I went to that you right was dope, and I was there. So you know what I mean. It's like I take information that I know because I can witness or somebody really did witness. But it's hard to have our kids spend all this time in school learning about a lot of stuff that is just kind of passed down. You know.
Right.
I hope that they figure this school thing out a little better because like my son, he's done really good in school and he plays like he's heavily into basketball and soccer. But he's sometimes the math and some of these things is not as easy. And I know what I went through. I just wish sometimes they would. Why don't they have classes just on better for kids, like how to help them in life? Like
Right. It's so
just
ridiculous, man.
respect.
Yeah.
Or
So many life skills that aren't taught.
yeah, that
How
really
for us
would
to get
help them.
along better with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
some of the most basic things that we aren't. Other cultures and societies do teach them to an extent. You know what I'm saying? But it's really a lack of priorities, and whether it's this country or just like in the modern days where. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some basic core things you need to learn, like social interaction.
yeah,
You know what
huge
I'm
one.
saying? Like, you have to learn that early, and it's not.
No, especially now with the way phones are. Obviously, I mean, my family, I can't say that we're not in our phones sometimes, and I try to really not be as much as I can, but it's just the reality of things. But now they need to, school should be always driven to what's going on. Like now they need classes on and teach you on how to disconnect from the phones and find a way to, with your loved ones, get in that quality time. And then you can get back on your phone and stuff like that. It's like, I just feel like they don't
Mm-hmm.
really give any of the kids anything really helpful to life. It's like a distraction on just like, okay, we'll cross that line. Now cross that line. Now cross that line.
Yep.
We might let you have an opportunity now. Cross that line, as instead of just being like, no, let me give you the foundation and the how to build your business or how to build your craft or how to build relationships, how to build your health. It's too
Yep.
bad. And I think people your age and my age are talking about this more. And I don't see how they're going to keep getting away with the curriculum that they keep doing. Like you don't need to get out of school having calculus to then be accepted by a major school if you're really good on treating people right,
Right.
or learning or being wanting to learn shit. Because I remember I tried to learn geometry and algebra, and I tried, man, but my brain it just wasn't clicking in sometimes. Some people's did click in. So it shouldn't, anyways, it's like a long path we go on, but I just hope that we could see in our generation them really make schools that help kids do better and find a way to enjoy life. You can work hard, but enjoy what you're doing instead of just being like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to climb trees and cut trees down, or I'm gonna have to go to the mill. Just
Yeah.
it's got to be better for kids and people to get into. Like you can work hard, but still like to go to work.
Right.
Help them to find those avenues
Mm-hmm.
instead of just giving them like, well, you've got to pass all this crazy stuff here that half of it we don't even know if it's the truth.
I know, right? No, I know. They keep changing math. How many times can you change math?
I know, dude.
Like what is it? It's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? But on a positive note with it, you know what I'm saying? I do see people kind of becoming more conscious and knowledgeable to a lot of the manipulations that
Yeah,
happen more and
I
more.
agree.
Whether it's in the media, whether it's in schools, whether it's different other avenues, just laws and government,
Yep.
or just laws outside of government. You know what I mean? Like people are more conscious now. Like no, like that's just you trying to sell something to
Yeah.
me, or
Yep.
that's just a gimmick.
It's like
or-
colleges and stuff, which I definitely think if you want to go to college, do, get, because just passing is disciplined by passing classes, and I get it all, but at least now I've been hearing a lot more echoing like, no, you don't have to go be in debt and go to college. You could find the path of what you want to do and just tech school or get on the job, or go on, dang, YouTube right now. Can you imagine if you and I were, when I was trying to learn beats, to
Oh
make beats,
man,
and I had YouTube.
and it was all out there.
Now it's like you can just any question you have. There's 40 cool dudes with nice equipment, same equipment as you. Every scenario you can think of that'll answer your question. It's pretty crazy.
And the internet will connect you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it's changed the game. The game has changed, and it just gets faster and faster nowadays, right? Like we got. We were talking about Sonny Wong, but you know what I mean? Like, so Sonny Wong's this dope artist, you know what I'm saying? He's even, he continuously moving the bar forward. He's messing with that AI,
Yeah.
Mid Journey and everything
Yep.
like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a game changer.
It
you know
is.
What I'm saying? Like
It
it's
is.
it's the kind of thing where, as a small business myself,
Yeah.
right? Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'd have to pay or take time to well no, I'd have to pay
Yeah.
somebody for
And
some dope
connect
art.
and email and messages and not
Right.
want to hurt somebody's feelings or not want to think you're asking too much and not paying enough. It's hard, man. But then at the same time, it's like the respect of the creators, right? You're like, well, I don't want to just put you to side and now I'm just on the AI app because we don't need you anymore. That ain't true. So
Right.
I think it'll work itself out to where it's still a tool that's helping everybody, and the creators are still like Sunny Wong, like he's super smart, and he's using the AI here and there because he knows that if he just shies away from it, then that's going to put him behind. So he can still be a creator and be awesome, but he's now going to implement the tools that everybody else is going to be using.
Right. Otherwise, they leave you behind, man. That's
Leave
the
you
thing. It's
behind.
like, just another, just for instance, another dope artist out there, Jason Brandy with Humboldt
Yep.
Republic. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Like, he's killing it where I see him. And he's done the same thing as Sunny Wong in terms of like he's harnessing this AI and everything like that. And I ain't just telling his game or what I'm seeing folks doing. But you could start off nowadays with with a pencil and just a line drawing from a piece of paper, and you scan that in and let Midjourney or another AI art platform like actually turn that into a full on 3D scene.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really crazy, man. So
It
you really
is.
just take I've just seen it, man, where these artists they're killing it because they've got vision. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That's what somebody who's
Yeah.
not making art like that,
Yeah.
they don't have that vision. You got to have some
And
vision.
it gets them there maybe faster, right? Because
Mhm.
sometimes, to get your vision and then put it on paper, and it takes hours and hours and hours. And they don't make it so we have hours anymore, right? Because they're so
Right.
expensive. Everything that you do, just getting out of your car and going somewhere is so much money that you have to be making money. So, it is good to have these now new technologies that hopefully can help us get to these things faster. Still using your creativity, right? Because,
Right. I
you
think
know,
that's the game changer too. Is right. Like there's the people that won't be using these tools. That will. It's just gonna take them longer.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do more, and you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying. And then there's going to be the. I don't know whether it's now the majority, but eventually, I want to honestly say it's going to be the majority of artists are going to be able to know like what is the cutting edge of, like I said, like what Sunny Wong and Jason Brandy's doing. Like they're using AI, they're
Yeah.
harnessing it. You know what I'm saying, to
Totally.
the fullest extent. So there's going to be people out there doing that, and if you're not doing that, you're going to be left behind.
You're left behind, and then you'll be able to create as much as you want to create. So I think it's cool. As a beat maker, I know they're going to be, programs that just be like, yo, I want to trap in 83 BPM,
Right.
just like the Young Thugs, da, 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 and then boom, it's there. But
It's gonna be to the point where, man, like you literally click a button, it'll randomly
randomize,
create a
I
track,
know.
and if you don't like it, click a
Yep,
button, and
yep,
in a second, new track.
There's going to be some gems that come off the randomize.
Fully.
I mean, I think there won't, it won't be like, so if you randomize, it could be like 1 out of 100, but man, some of those are going to be super dope. I kind of want to play with some of the randomizers. Kind of like those,
Yep.
like the keyboards. I have a couple at home. They have all the presets, right?
Mhm.
Pre-made beats, but you can sit there and like change the drums or change. So just that alone, you can still take it, manipulate it,
Yeah.
slow it down, speed it up.
See, that's the real art.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the art of it, because you see me and what I'm doing out here with the whole, you know what I'm saying, like the little AI videos and all that little shit I be
Yeah.
doing, right? And so like, you know what I'm saying, there's only so many apps, and so I see other, content creators out there, they're using the same apps, and so then they're using like the same effects, and so then shit starts to all kind of look the same. What you have to do as an artist, and that's where the art comes into play,
Yeah.
is I'm gonna take a video, process it through an AI app, and it's gonna come out looking like this. Then I'm gonna process it again.
Take it into something else.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I know Wong does that too. Is that he'll start on maybe get the mid journey, but then he takes it into his own thing and then Spruce do what he wants. So yeah, absolutely.
That's
dude.
the art of it now. You know
It
what I'm saying?
is.
So I don't want people to, like there's the AI thing out there and everything like that, but there's still gonna be art involved with that. You could do it to the point where there is no art involved.
Yeah.
There's no personal creative
Just
energy
pop
involved.
out what it gave you, post it.
Right. Or you can actually do some work
Yeah.
and try to, make something
Yeah.
dope. I have, what I'm saying, running this brand like I am, you know what I'm saying, like I have to make sure the visuals are popping. If I'm not a pro videographer or you know what I mean, like artist or nothing like that. And I see the dudes that are out there doing that. So when they're out there doing what they're doing and it's like the top level,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I gotta to some extent emulate it. You know what I'm
Totally.
saying? Like I gotta push it and like saying like make something that's custom and nobody has seen else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all about the art,
Yeah.
and I'm just glad that there are it would be interesting if in this whole AI conversation, if like heavy hitters, and I ain't trying to put words in Wong's mouth or anybody's mouth, I'm just saying like heavy hitters like Wong, if Sonny was saying out here, if he was like, yeah, like just fuck this AI stuff and
Cut
don't
off.
touch it, don't do it,
Yeah.
I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? There's that, and I see the heads out there like
There's
that.
some, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but then there's also the heads that are like, you know what though?
Run
There's
with
gonna
it.
be the haters,
Yeah.
but we still have to move forward.
We got to run with it. Yep.
Yep.
It's on everything. And, because you've seen it happen with everything, equipment, gear, who's to say you couldn't make a whole beat, like say an MPC, you could have bass, drums, vocal samples, all that, and you don't need anything else. They didn't believe that back then, and then they're doing it,
Yep.
Or Fruity Loops, when that program had sounded corny as hell, right? Fruity Loops. I remember I was like, that sounds corny, I'm not using that. And then you hear Ninth Wonder is like busting out I think he was even using some, not even a MIDI control, he was just using keypad on some of them,
Mm-hmm.
and making just classics.
Yep.
So yeah, you got to run with it sometimes. At least learn some of it. Still do what you do, but yeah, I think people mainly are super scared about is like when you just say like, here's Drake's song on, it's just AI Drake songs. I guess that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
In a way,
What's the value in it?
Yeah, because you could put out 1,000. I heard some crazy amount of AI rap songs have been put out in the last year. It was amazing. It was like in the millions or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of that's the only part I'm not sure if I'm a super fan of.
Right.
But I can tell. I feel like you can tell kind of though.
Yeah. No, I agree. Now, I can definitely tell, at least when it comes to music. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell this is formulaic. This may just be a bunch of hi-hats, and they're just using a formula.
Yeah.
Versus, this is like, saying like you said, Ninth Wonder or Timbaland or somebody, Metro Boomin.
A soul
yeah,
band,
they actually have some, something with it.
Yeah, I personally am not that worried about it. I need to get more with it, if anything. But I can see where some people are scared. Like my wife's just like, man, I don't know, this AI stuff seems kind of scary, and
I think it's gonna get there because there's definitely the nefarious uses. There's the uses where people can use it to just like, not even just save time, but just like do more than what you should have been doing that you should even be able to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so just like, it's out there, but on the bright side of it, like I'm trying to make more like, okay, I want to teach my kids how to harness it to some extent. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be it.
Yeah, they'd have a huge step on, to be able to get with that technologies now. Instead of being scared of it. Usually when people are scared of it, they don't pick it up until everybody's got an iPhone, right? Because even the flip phone guys, there's few and far between of those guys anymore.
Right.
Because
they keep trying to bring it back, and it's not ever going to hit. I'm telling y'all, it's not going to hit.
There's just too much shit you can get done, dude. I can talk to my dad in Germany on my phone. I can be making a beat on Koala. You ever seen the Koala app?
Yeah, it's a dope sampler right
there.
It's
$5. Cost me $5. I've made probably a handful of beats that we've made into songs on albums from the Koala app.
Oh, heck yeah. No, it's one of the best sampler apps out there.
Yeah.
It splits the stems and everything.
Yeah, it does all that, and it's on your phone. So it's like, I agree the phone is kind of hard to when you've seen everybody with their heads down and not spending time together. That is kind of, but hell, alcohol, you can sit down and you're drinking 12-pack of beer, you're sitting there, it's anything you can do too much of, right? So,
right. It's all about balance, awareness,
it's all
and
about balance and shit.
Yeah. People are going to take it too far no matter what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's going to be those out there, but that's the sign of a real musician, or actually a real artist, is finding that balance between, there's oversaturating certain aspects, and then, you know what I'm saying? And so that art is finding the right mix of everything.
Yeah.
That's real art, man. No computer will ever be able to generate that.
No, I don't think so, dude. I think it's always going to be, and our lifetime is hungry right now for, genuine, just something new. Like, are you telling me we're all tapped out of genres already? There's no way.
Could
Something's
be.
gonna come, right? I don't know.
It's gotta be.
I think about this all the time because I'm always like, man, if I could just, because I feel like I'm a decent producer, but like, there's just so many amazing producers out just that I love that are just so it's hard to compete. So I'm always thinking like, well, maybe we can invent a genre, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times genres are created by where you're from, right? Because like Afrobeat and all that stuff, that's real popular, and it came because that's what the culture, that's what was made, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's hard. It's hard to do,
No, I know.
I haven't figured it out yet, but
And I think too that part of it is like, what I'm saying, I'm not trying to implement age into any of it, but it's like it I feel like as we get older it becomes harder to do and we become less relevant, and so it becomes that much harder to do because, just for instance, like I see, what I'm saying, just like a genre that I've seen pop up, we've seen genres pop up, over the years, like, however many years ago it was, like dubstep was the
first
thing,
one,
and that was
right.
like everybody was like into it. It was like
Right.
that big thing. And so like now a new genre that's popped up that I'm not like super versed in, but it's popular out there is hyperpop. Hyperpop.
Okay.
And so it's like, just for instance, like some local dudes that are doing that type of sound is like the Cemetery Boys.
Okay.
It's really more like I ain't trying to pigeonhole it into one artist, what I'm saying, but it's more kind of like the Lil Xan, kind of like.
Well, I've been hearing like some of Trippie Red's newer beats. That
Yeah.
he's called a hyper something, and and it's kind of got that like sounds from like a synth, but maybe not dubstep, but yet it's kind of that. I think I know what you're talking about, the hyper
You know
part.
exactly what I'm talking
And I
about.
kind of
Yeah.
like a lot of it, actually. You know? It's
It
not,
ends up being dope. It's something new. It's something fresh. It's a new take on things.
Yeah.
It's a new sound. And so, I'm going to always just kind of like something new. I'm the guy that's,
yeah.
I hate stagnancy. What I'm
Right.
saying? So I'm going to get on it. But, what I'm saying? That's one new. That's another, it went off and it branched off from, while it's hyper pop, it's a branch off of hip hop.
Yeah, it made me, like I said, I think this song by Trippie Redd was called The Rage or something. Man, that beat's so sick. Like, that beat to me was the sickest beat of that year that came out. And, yeah, it made me, just it influences you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I think it had, like, on there with him was another dude that's rap was terrible, but he's actually pretty good, too. Gosh, I can't remember his name. I forget all names I'm thinking. But, again, some of the new stuff you have to pay attention to, though, because it could be Young Cardi. Yeah.
Lil Playboy Cardi.
Playboy Cardi.
Yeah.
He's got like that dude. I've heard him throw some garbage verses on stuff, but when I listen to his projects, he's got a lot of good, like original sounding cool beats.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've heard, and then he's got good flows. But like that guy's got a whole following. I've noticed, like that kid, like a cult following. Like he's got a big fan base.
Yep, very big actually.
And I find my liking a lot of his songs. Like and you have Spotify?
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. You like, sometimes you don't want to throw them into a playlist set. You just like it just so you can go back through it. So I find I have a lot of Playboy Cardi songs on my
shit. No, he's like you said, man. He's got a big following out there, and that's one of the things nowadays. That's what's so dope about hip hop is that there was the old formula, but now you could honestly make it big.
Mm-hmm.
By just actually, you go do shows, you start to sell out those shows, you actually just do the formula,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and make it bigger, and move outside of your area, outside of your box, start to tour around,
Yep.
start to sell out those shows. You can actually do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, anybody can. That's crazy. So anybody that really wants to do music right now, this is a great time to just do it and don't care and do it fully.
Yep.
And if you put enough time behind you of just staying on it, like you said, I think anybody can kind of make it somewhat. That's what's pretty cool about the content creators in the YouTubes, the stuff your kids watch, my kids watch. That I'm always surprised. Like, why are you watching this family? Like, why aren't you here with our family? You're watching this family. But I get it, though. It's like they get millions of viewers, and then it turns into some income. And if that's what you want to do, you can do it. You just have to do it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Or the people my daughter listens over the ASMR where it's just like ladies chewing on stuff.
Yep, my daughter listens to the same things, man.
I mean, to me, it's at first it was this is ridiculous. Like, why? But the lady likes doing it.
She's got a big following.
She goes to work every day in her own home, and she's chewing on stuff.
All you need is a Blue Yeti, man. A Blue Yeti,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that's
no,
it right there. That's that mic. I see a lot of those.
You just turn the volume all the way up on it, and then the listeners are supposed to turn their volume down. Or
Yeah.
no, you're supposed to turn your volume up, so that way you're hearing like
All
every
the
little
new,
thing.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, that's for nowadays for anybody wanting to do what they want to do. It's there to do it. Even though it's real saturated, and for sometimes for Dirty Rats, we're like, oh man, like how do you separate yourselves from it's so much music out there. But I think you just stay doing it, man. You just stay doing it,
Got to.
and no matter what.
If it's in your heart, if the craft is in your heart, you're gonna.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and you ride the wave, whatever the wave is looking like.
Absolutely, man.
You
You
know,
know.
I'm blessed to again, have been in Humboldt County and have seen what the Dirty Rats has done for the culture over these 30 years,
Well,
man.
thank you, man. It's like I feel like we've done a lot, but could have done way more. And at this point now, I'm just looking forward to hopefully what we can do, along with people like you and Knack, and you know, and maybe find I know we're probably wrapping up here, but I would like to say though in this area, which luckily you've kind of answered the prayers, but for a long time I was like, man, why isn't more people do like beat battles and MC battles or showcases. And I feel like and I know I've talked about this before, I feel like if there was a little bit more of that, there'd be more people going home and then like practicing their stuff so they can come the next week at
Yep.
so and so's and battle or not. Sometimes battle might seem negative because you're competing, and so even like a showcase, you don't have to say battle. It could just be like,
Right.
you came out and maybe your set wasn't taken in as well, but now you want to make sure the next time you come, they're feeling your set, and so then you go home and you practice, and
Right.
it helps you to stay focused, get sleep, maybe not do so much drugs or whatever because you're focused on being proud of what you put out there. And so this area, I hope, will do more of that. Battle the bands. I know Ferndale had some battle the bands. That's cool. So more of that stuff. We need more of that in Humboldt
Yep.
for the future to have people really. And then what I think somebody's going to do here eventually, somebody's going to put out a documentary, right, of this area. Maybe specializing in hip hop, I hope, and
Yep.
really like put a story together that maybe nationwide is appealing. Kind of like the stories when we would see. I know I can't compare it to LA and stuff because it's a total. Sometimes people are more shocked because LA had a lot of danger, right? When you got danger, it draws more, But
It's still been a scene.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like, no, I don't know if you've heard. Well, no, you definitely heard the One Ton episode where he was talking about Greg Mack. You know what I'm saying?
I told you I worked for Greg Mack, right? That's a
Yeah.
trip. I mean, I'm glad you said that because sometimes when we get off the show, I forget what a trip that was, dude. Is I was living in Fortuna, and I heard they had a hip hop radio station. I couldn't believe it. Like finally, out of all these years, there's gonna be a hip hop radio station here, and they had the tryouts. And so I went down there and kind of tried out. I never, did a voice. I don't even really like my voice, and I didn't have a personality really, but I just wanted to do it so bad. And I got an opportunity, and I think I didn't. I think I got on like a part time thing. Like he already had a couple full timers, and I was just getting some part time work, and so I did it. But then I became one of his full time. I was like the main DJ for like a year. I was Tony Knight was my name.
Oh, that's where I've heard Tony Knight before. You and Damien talking about
Yeah,
Tony
yeah,
Knight.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny, and it was a rude awakening, though I have to say about the whole experience because even though Greg Mack, much respect, he's a big time pillar of what's happened with hip hop, right? I mean, when you say Greg Mack, we're talking beginnings of NWA and Easy E. He was the first one to put their music on the radio, and then not only that, but he's shook hands and done collaborations with anybody. I mean, he was bringing when he was here, he was bringing like Corrupt and different shows up. So much respect. But what was crazy about that is me thinking like, oh, finally I'm gonna be a DJ. I'm gonna bring this area, all this hip hop and all my influences, and I'm gonna bring it to the people. Nah, it ain't that way because what happens is when you run on because he was kind of, it wasn't like a college radio, it was like a formula, and it was kind of like he opened up like a Wendy's in Humboldt in a way because, and I'm not trying to put anything on, blanket him with any bad shade, but it wasn't like I thought it was. They programmed the music. All I was there to do was just open up the mic, say what was coming on, say what our sponsors are. People would call in for requests, and you could tell them that you were going to play it, But chances are, he always said, they're just young kids. They're just asking for what we're playing anyways coming on in an hour. So just tell them you're going to play it. But I couldn't play nothing. Nothing. I had no. And a couple times I did swap out a couple songs, man. One time I had a phone call right away. Yeah, Gabe, that wasn't programmed on our show, one more of those and I'm going to have to suspend you or something, something. I was just like, okay, shit.
Oh, man.
Damn, shot down my whole dream of wanting to be a DJ. Because when I was a kid growing up in Tucson, Arizona, I would listen to the radio stations. They'd be playing all the hip hop music, all the breakdance music, and it would be the DJs putting on what flavors and what artists have given him music, and
Right.
that's what influenced the city. But now it's like, and this is when Greg Mack was there, that was like late '90s. So I mean, it's been going on. It's so bad. So the only way you can really catch a radio that's giving you anything of soul of life, it's got to be a college radio, or maybe one of these like Cameo. It's like at midnight at 1 a.m. They're letting some DJ go. But
Yeah.
man, what a rude awakening I had. I think I lasted a year and I couldn't take it anymore because they just wanted you to go down and like support when you're having remote selling 7-Up and Mountain Dews at some shopping mall because we're doing a remote about the station. I don't know, it was just terrible.
Yeah. No, that's the thing about, once it's a brand and everything like that, then you got to do all that and everything.
They just program
brand.
it, so it'd be every hour there'd be the same couple songs come in, then the next hour there'd be another.
The
So
full on like clear channel kind of playlist.
It'd just be running down on a computer on a time, and it'd just be boom, boom, and him or somebody else would program it. You had no say.
Yeah, no, that's and that kind of thing is antithetical to Humboldt County's music scene. It really is. Just like even just a robot, but just like a pre-selected, playlist from outside the area.
Sucks, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I think I listen to because my truck, I only have radio. I listen to 105.1, and that's it's just random what you're gonna get on there. But a lot of times, at least I get like whatever students are running it, they're playing what they want to play, and if they got new music, maybe they're from San Diego and they got some artists they're playing from San Diego. I'm getting in that we used to when we were kids, that DJs putting you on to something or their vibe. So,
which is a value. I think people have lost that. Whether it's I'm not talking about the DJs, but people have lost the understanding that that's a value. Somebody bringing you new music, that's a value.
Big time, man.
Especially in an area like this where we're behind the redwood curtain, so it's harder to get.
Right. So, anyways, that's why you said Greg Mack is funny though. Even though to say he still brought hip hop to Humboldt, and that was cool. And he brought a lot of I brought Snoop, and he brought artists, and that was cool. And it was neat to be around somebody of that person from the cloth of the the highest stages of hip hop. He knew all the guys, like Eazy. I mean, Eazy was everything when he came out, at least in Humboldt, because I had just moved to Humboldt when that album came out, and everybody was bumping Eazy-E's shit. Damn. So that was pretty neat to be able to say I was around Fortuna when that all happened. But yeah.
That was a good time. It was sad when the party stopped broadcasting, man.
Right, I know, it was sad. I think he just didn't see the future, and he was moving on to open up in like Reading and other markets where there was probably the money was a little better. Mm-hmm. I don't blame him. I get it, but
yeah, that's one thing too, though, y'all. Like anybody listening to this, I want to make sure y'all come out to these shows, like show support, because we need that. We need the people. And I ain't just going to say we need your money, but I'm just saying we need the support.
I think people too, even myself, sometimes when you go to get out, you're like, dark, cold Humboldt sometimes is like, there's someone pulling a knife in this place. Like, what crazy? Because there's been, sometimes you read the papers, the outpost, some crazy shit cracks off. But I will say, since I've been going out lately, man, the vibe has been really good. I don't feel like, it was back when we were doing shows too, and there was a lot of weed money in the area, and a lot of these growers had just so much money, and some of them beyond whatever drug they were on, and some of them weren't in the right mind. You'd be at a bar and some dude's got just stacks of hundreds, but he's ready to just like brawl, or just like there were some weird energies back in those days. You didn't know what was gonna happen, but I definitely would like to tell people I feel go out to these shows nowadays, because I feel like from the artists I don't feel any animosity. I don't feel any dangers. It just seems like everybody's real, just peaceful and just wanting to enjoy the music. So
yep.
I know that's sometimes for even myself, you worry about going out. Are you going to run into some chaos, you know. But I
Yeah.
feel like things have. I mean, that's probably the only good thing that's coming down with the weed thing kind of going down in our community is that it's mellowed some things out. I don't know. Do you think so, or am I tripping a little bit?
I would think so.
Because I know the money's not as much, so people are more desperate. So that's kind of hard too.
There's that. There's definitely low hanging fruit in folks when
Yeah.
just come over. You know what I'm saying? Get over. But no, I agree because there's less money involved. While that is to an extent unfortunate that there's less money involved in
Right.
the county because
Yeah.
cannabis changing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's like taking the edge off it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like now the only time I've seen in like the last 2 years where there's been like let's just say like a stabbing. There was a stabbing outside of the ATL.
Yeah.
And everything like that. Like it's typically like young kids.
Yeah.
Where there's some like 17 to 22-year-old kids that are just, just looking for a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this, man, you know what I'm saying? Like I already don't really like, you know what I'm saying? I fucks with the jam and everything like that, but I already don't go like there to party primarily because like there's some interesting stuff that goes on. But in general, whether it's the ATL or the jam, basically the two premier spots in the county for music, and shows, like when the show's over, I'm out of there.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not sticking around. I'm not doing the after, like everybody smoking in front of the
Yeah,
video
no,
and
I'm
everything
over
like
that. Yeah.
Nah, we got kids, bro. We ain't
Totally.
doing that.
I just rather I'm just grateful to have a good night and get home safe
Right.
and still have a little time with them before they go to bed. Totally.
Exactly.
Because, yes, that's when those times at nights when the meanness lurks around.
Right, folks looking for problems and everything like that.
Yeah,
You're gonna be out
yeah.
there smoking, and everybody's like, everybody it's the scene. Everybody smoking, looking around. So, that was one of the interesting things. One point that was, I think it was on the podcast I did a couple days ago with Juice and the homie from Ezra Hollis from Arcane Artists, but they were just talking about it, and they're just like, like there's really got to be like when it comes to beef and everything like that, like you really have to people in Humboldt County, like they're not as free with their movement as they are in other areas. And what I say by that is like if you go to a hip hop show in just like let's say Sacramento, you know what I'm saying? Like folks getting crazy.
Yeah, they're letting loose. They don't care. They've been doing it their whole life.
Exactly.
There's been avenues to do that. Yeah.
Right. And in Humboldt, it's more like, nah, we're like, okay, so it's only so big of a community. Yeah. Everybody knows each other. Mm-hmm. So everybody knows like that's that person's friend or that's those people, from that clique or whatever like that. Yep. So people are a little less free to move. They don't want to just be doing whatever they want to do.
It's true.
Because they know they're going to get seen.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic.
It is an interesting dynamic. That's why I think maybe like I've noticed your shows are a little earlier sometimes, right? I mean, so I think you're taking the precautions to be aware of those things and making it better. So it is a little safer, better energies.
Yep. I definitely can't have none of my stuff involved with that. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Because the cops around here will be quick to start to shut stuff down.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
And all the artists that you've been bringing or just that are around here, I noticed I don't get any like animosity vibes. That's a really cool thing is like everybody seems like they're just out for their craft. Yep. Share the music that they're, exchanging with the others and back to building, Yep.
That's one of the beautiful things too though about Humboldt County, man. It's like while there are, some incidents and stuff like that, like in general, especially when it comes to the music scene, even the hip hop scene, it's positive.
Yeah. That's what I'm seeing right now. So I hope it continues on, and I know it will. So
yep.
I think it's like you said, we just got to get the young ones to stay interested in DJing, stay interested in writing, stay interested in rapping, stay interested in just riding in your car with those beats,
That's right.
Instead of just always being just straight up on your phone in your house,
Right. Just consuming instead of just being consumers, I try to, like for instance, my kids, you know what I'm saying? We got to teach them to be creators.
Definitely.
We got to foster that.
Yeah.
That's what's going to help. That's how therapy happens is when your soul's able to actually express itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we need to foster
and
more
get the
of that.
feedback off the other people to feed you more because
right.
That's why we do it. I make 10 beats and probably only one honestly is good, but I'm gonna make 100 of them to hope that I have 10 good ones, and then when I'm bouncing them off to different people, I have no idea to know which ones they're gonna like. It's a lot of times the ones I didn't like. Right. It's weird how that is. So
it is crazy.
You only know that by just creating and putting it out there. Because if it just stays in your computer or just stays at home, or if you just stay at home, you don't get that love. And I feel like in a time right now where some of us, it is hard to find a good job that you enjoy and make good money on, and so it's hard to have a lot of time in the day that you're actually only having hours of enjoyment. Like, you got to find out there what you want to listen to, what you like doing, so for kids, make stuff, bounce it off people, get the recognition that they like it, it feels good. Even like with sports, you're a good basketball player, football player, people in the cheer for you, it feels good. That's why we do it,
Yep.
so it helps people not be as depressed, I think, when you have something you're being creative with and getting the feedback of good back. So
Yep. And when you don't have that feedback moving, that's like there's a stagnancy of energy where there should be some feedback happening.
Yeah.
When you're putting your art out there, you know what I'm saying? So you just got to definitely be brave enough to
Yeah.
put it out there. This is a small area too, you know what I'm saying? There's not, you're not going to be performing for, a stage of, with 10,000 people.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
the
take
reality.
that, as a blessing and say,
Right.
all right, I can go out there and be, that much more comfortable.
yeah, and use it to hone it up. That way, then when you do get to LA and San Francisco and these other areas, and there are bigger crowds, you already got seasoned up.
That's it.
Because then when you go to the cities and people like that, or even people that are from the city and come to Humboldt and watch shows, like I said, if you're on stage and you're watching a person perform and they don't look comfortable or confident, you kind of took the whole thing away already. Now they're not watching your content. Now they're not taking in what your art is. They're more looking like, God, I hope he stays on.
Or it's
I hope
gonna
he
get
doesn't
worse
jump off. I
right.
feel bad. I'm kind of cringing for him. I hope he's gonna be okay.
Right.
And
Right.
that's the hard. And that's why even with the Dirty Rats, sometimes when with us, it's just like to stay on point. You got to practice and you got to collaborate and really know your shit. Because if you go to a show and you don't know your verses, like it happens to all of us, but like you don't get to really deliver. Your like I watch Highway. Like Highway's delivering his shit because he's staying fully engaged in his persona and in his craft and in his like a celebrity, or what we're gonna call him. Like he's locked in.
Yeah.
So now when you're watching him perform, you're not looking to see like, oh, he's falling off, or oh, he might have forgot his verse, or ooh, he looks like he's not comfortable, he's not loosened up.
I'm actually listening to the music.
I'm just taking in what he's creating because he's got all that. And that's hard. Even for myself as a DJ, which I don't do much, but when I do DJ, yeah, you're trying to you want to be comfortable, and it's the only way you can do it is just by doing it more and more and more.
Yep.
Because sometimes you're like, oh, what are my hands doing? It's like I'm behind, and when you're backing people, you're not having to do much. You're just playing their beat, but you gotta at least be enjoying it,
Yeah, no, and it shows too. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
it's
saying?
hard
a
sometimes.
A good MC, they love having a dope DJ behind them. Like that's a
Yeah.
whole game changer.
Totally.
It really is.
Yeah.
And so like if you're doing it and you're, whether it's DJing or MCing it, like if you're not giving it that where it's, you're not going to create that magic.
Yeah, and I felt that your show that was again, to talk about that show one more time. I really liked about that show was from Rod to Height to Albert. When I was they were like engaging with me respectfully and nicely, and just I just felt good, even though I'd never been up there with them, and that's not usually like that. Back in the past, there was times where I would do people's sets, and I'd just be the dude throwing the beat on for them. They didn't care, or what. But those guys were really nice, and yeah, it was nice to be a part. So
Yeah. Hey, I'm thankful that you came out and killed the GMG. That was
yeah,
such
dude,
a
it
good
was so
show,
fun,
man.
dude. I hope we got more of those.
Yeah.
Because you did a fantastic job at organizing that one,
Hey,
and what a
thanks,
cool
man.
spot too. Because
Yeah.
never been in there before, and at first it looks like it's all the seating like for a theater, but then you got the stage, so you got best of both worlds, right? You can go and be dancing and be with everybody and feeling it, and then you can also, like my son who was more like he's a little shy, so he's gonna take it in the back, but he's still enjoying it, and then we're talking about it on the way home about what he liked and all that, so
Heck
that was a
yeah.
cool spot to have. The both things, we can kick it and sit, or you could stand up and watch.
Yeah.
So I like that spot.
I really hope that there's going to be, we're going to do it, but
Sound sounded good in there. It was good.
Yeah, no, Chris P killed it. That spot
Yeah, it was a
was
good
like
spot,
ideal
dude.
for like a hip hop show.
Yeah, it was
honestly.
really good. Like probably my favorite that I've been to in a while. I can't, Red Fox was always a cool spot, but sound was kind of hard in there sometimes because it was shaped in like an L, But yeah, that spot had really good sound, man. Shit.
Yeah, no, guys, keep an eye out for the next one because we're going to be doing something there. If not before the end of the year, then definitely next year.
Yeah, and
So-
when I was at the cipher, they were talking about you guys or the Congress is doing something coming up here, right?
Yeah, for August.
Julia was talking something about it, but I didn't. She just said, "Yeah, you should come," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll come," but I didn't really, I didn't get like this, like what it was or.
Oh yeah. So I'm just slowly getting more and more details because the group is forming more and more up each day. But it's gonna be an interesting show, man. So to my understanding, don't quote me on this.
Yeah.
This is just me hearing it, but what I'm saying, to my understanding, there's gonna be a DJ battle, and it's gonna be at least like 6 DJs.
Holy shit, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Sweet.
see, heck yeah.
Dang, I can't wait for that.
See, that's gonna be some fire, and that's the dopest way. See, that's the proper way for Humboldt County to celebrate 50 years of hip hop.
Absolutely.
It's like moving the bar forward. Something that we haven't seen. I mean, I may not know. Maybe it happened years past, but I haven't seen a DJ battle.
I haven't seen. I mean, they were probably around here, but I don't remember them.
Right.
I hadn't been to them, and I've been going out to shows for a long time, so there ain't been many of them.
Yeah.
And they really need those because, like I said, if you got 10 DJs in that battle, and 3 of them are the weaker links, but they go home feeling that like, duh, I got to get my crap up. Those are the guys that end up getting their weight up, and then might be some of the best DJs ever in the world, right?
Yep.
And so we need to cultivate them. If you just leave everybody comfortable to where everybody in their crew and their family, you're the best, you're so good. Like, okay, well, come here and battle a little bit and show, it's not like it's to put you down, but it's to like give you a level on where you're at and what you need to do to get better, right?
That's right.
And that's what I think on everybody, whether it be like a group battle or MC battle, we need a lot of that. So that's amazing. I hope they do that, and again, that's probably harder to organize because like I thought like it'd be cool to organize a beat battle, like producers battling, but it would probably take many times to do it to build it up because that's not what we've been doing around here.
Right. Yeah.
So
you
wouldn't just get like a bunch of people probably participating off the bat. You probably get like maybe 2, 3.
Right.
So
well, we're trying because right now, and I'm just letting folks know, what I know, but we got DJ M locked in.
Nice. He's a
so
good
that's
DJ.
Gonna be dope. Yeah. And then, so other acts, I'm not sure on the DJs, the rest of the DJs. I mean, I'm sure Goldilocks, he's on the Congress, so he's going to be there, you know what I'm saying? But I know we got Imani. I know we got Empress Lee.
Nice.
I know we got Demise and Lobo on the live art.
Wow.
So it's going to be, and I'm almost 100% sure that the Rockers are going to come through to hold down the pillar because they are the pillar.
Oh, yes, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
So between just that right there, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to be
That's a great show. And I tell anybody that's listening to this, I saw that Imani girl once, and I'm in. Like, that, she is good.
Yeah.
So, and Empress Lee, yeah, really, that's just what you just listed right there is enough to make people want to, go watch these shows. Because for female vocalists that I've seen around here, I'd say, that's some of the best that I've seen around here.
Yep.
So,
literally.
Might be the best. Like, I hate to say because I only seen her that one time, but I was so impressed. I was like, damn, for females out here in the hip-hop community, I can't even. There's no other one that's come to mind that I can think that cracked off that party like she did. You know?
No, she's got it. She's got that stage appeal too, where she can pull the crowd in. So no, she's got it. And so that's gonna be a dope one between the DJ battle, those two, vocalists and everything like that.
That's
it's gonna
cool.
be a good one.
I'll definitely come check it out. Do you remember what's that?
So it's gonna be in the little courtyard that's right outside the Siren Song, the Romano Gabriel like little courtyard right there.
I know you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's gonna be a good one. Make sure y'all come out to that one August 11th.
August 11th. Yep, I'm gonna come to that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then hey, since we're on the pod, I'm just gonna a lot of people like to come to Hip Hop Humboldt to figure out what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So anybody listening right now, you know what I'm saying? So we got Highway and the West Coast Love Tour that's dropping just in a few days here on July 28th at the Jam.
Okay, yeah, because they're touring right now around. I see them going around. That's awesome, man.
That's going to be heat. Actually, it's going to be a really special
By the time
show.
they get here, which I'm sure they're just murdering it, I imagine.
Yep.
Damn, dude.
I can only imagine. And that's like 6 to 7, like, dope MCs.
When did you say that was again?
So that's July 28th. This
Friday. This Friday. And where's that at?
At the Jam.
Oh man, I gotta go. I'm gonna ask Kush if he wants to go see that.
Hey, I'll see y'all there if you come. I'll be there for sure. Because I'm doing that show, and then the next day I'm gonna be pulling the whole West Coast Love Tour in for a podcast. So
man, dude, that is gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, man, you're doing so much good, bro.
Hey.
I know we keep telling you this, but I'm just gonna keep telling you, bro. Like you've done so much for the hip hop community here, dude. It's amazing. It's so cool.
Hey, thanks,
Yeah,
GMC.
dude. It's. I mean, all of us in the crew. You're a celebrity, bro. And we appreciate you. No, I'm serious.
Hey,
Like
I'm just a
serious, man.
journalist, man. Just getting it all archived. You guys are the celebrities. I'm just
Yeah.
blessed to be able to even
We
just, you know what
appreciate
I'm
you,
saying?
dude. This is
Hey,
something in the history that and it's still going, but it's gonna be looked back on, dude. And your mark is made, and continuing to be made. So
hey, thanks,
be proud,
GMG.
bro.
I'm just glad to be able to, take whatever skills I have to do this and to move it forward. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can. That's the thing about it is we all have our lanes, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was just glad that I could take whatever skills that I have and maximize them by helping Humboldt County Hip Hop.
Well, it's crazy. You've been around here since how back you told me, and even though like I saw Jay, they were talking about you were kind of maybe in the shadows, but really like you just been gathering and collecting and building, and now here you are, and you unleashing it and keeping the vibe and the love and the energy here so strong. And so yeah, you could be here for the last 10 years and maybe it was like a silent build up, but man, now look where you're at. It don't even matter like whether you were loud then. It's like it's built up to what we got now.
That's
And it's
it.
everything right now, at least from what I understand that the hip hop, this just podcast and the shows you guys are doing. It's big, dude. It's huge.
Hey, thanks, GMG.
Yeah,
We're
dude.
definitely trying. We're trying to hold it down. You know what I'm saying? It's all for the love of the craft. It's all
Yeah.
for the love of the county and the artists that have created this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because,
man.
that's one thing, too. Anybody listening to this, anybody coming up in music, you know what I'm saying? Like, realize the blessing that we have here.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a scene that's so. There's nobody, you know what I'm saying? If you're an artist and you want to come and hit the scene, there's nothing stopping you.
No.
There's nobody
Anybody's
stopping
welcome.
anybody.
Love to hear what you got.
Mm-hmm.
That is the cool thing about Humboldt is just like it's real opening. Come make music, come perform music, come collaborate on music. No one's trying to be better or worse, or and that's really cool about here. So I really hope that this grows and they hear about us in LA and New York and they hear about us in Atlanta someday,
Mm-hmm.
somehow.
Hey, eventually it's gonna happen, man, because there's some talent around here, and if we get, that's what I'm saying too, though. Anything I say this, but anything that I can do, you can do better. It's like anybody that sees what I'm doing out here, y'all can do. I'm just one person out here, just
Right.
putting some effort in towards some goals. Y'all can do the same thing. Come out to these shows. We need more people like the shows.
Yeah.
Videotaping, taking
Yeah.
pictures and everything like
Yeah.
that. We need that. All that's going to create that critical mass to the point where we're going to, like, Sacramento's not going to have a choice but to say, all right, they're doing something up there in Humboldt County. You know what I'm saying? Same thing in LA. They're
Yeah.
doing something
Yeah.
up there. That was what, the whole point with Greg Mack that we were talking about earlier is that, like, like he even said on the on the One Ton episode of the podcast when he was talking about Greg Mack, he was like, yeah, Greg Mack said that, what's going on up here in Humboldt County, at least, when Potluck was popping,
Yeah.
like it was like what's happening in LA because there's a bunch of cliques making dope music. There's not like there's a little bit of competition,
Mm.
but it's only like what I'm saying, like it's less beef,
Right.
and it's more
lightweight.
like
Yeah.
everybody trying to
Heighten the
succeed.
levels, yeah. It's
Right.
not so much like we want to fight you and we're trying to like vandalize you. It's more like, oh dang, okay, you sound like that. We got to come better. My bass needs to be louder. Or
Right.
vocals
Levels
need.
it
We need.
up.
Yeah, we need to switch off our verses smoother. All that stuff.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
man.
it. And that's gonna be the scene moving forward. Is that y'all want to keep an eye on it because it's moving. Things
I
are moving
I
right
believe it,
now.
dude. Like I said, that showcase that you just provided, every artist was on point and in their own lanes, and that was
Mm-hmm.
impressive. Because it used to be on bills, there'd be 3 or 4 groups before the opener that all were kind of the same, trying to be hard as can be, trying to be on the most drugs, take all your girlfriends, all that stuff. And now it's like they're giving actual content of real, just stuff, just good vibes and
Yep.
life lessons and positivity and
Nobody's tripping on all those things no more.
no.
Nobody's taking nobody's girls
Nobody's
out
taking his
here.
girls and like
Nobody's
killing
beefing
anybody.
like
Yeah,
that.
no.
Yeah.
It's just like got talent and they're doing their thing.
Yep.
I mean, it's really cool, man.
It's a blessing, y'all. Thanks to Humboldt County for what y'all are
Yeah,
doing out there.
shit. I know. It's like sometimes you wonder. I'm sure everybody, all of us in Humboldt, wonder what are we doing here? Sometimes, not because it's not beautiful, not because it's not wonderful, but like, should I have been here? Like, should I have been here for the 10, 20, 30 years? I'm missing out. Everything's moving out there. Everything here doesn't move like it does out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the love that we have here, you just hold on to it and keep going and building. Like, it'll have its time,
Facts.
And it's already kind of, but it will.
Yep. This wave ain't stopping. That's my thing is that it's a wave right now because there's a lot going on.
Yes, it is a wave.
And I'm not, it's definitely exhausting to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at my social media and it's telling me like, oh, you got like increased visibility for like 120 days.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
oh, that's 4 months where I'm just like grinding.
Man.
But I'm not stopping though because I got this team. You know what I'm saying? Me, Height, Albert.
Yeah,
you know what
dude.
I'm saying? We're moving it forward. You know what I'm saying? And we're just out here, not even from Humboldt County.
Right.
Stepped into the county and we're like, all right, we're just gonna keep it moving.
But you guys hold yourselves well, and you seem to like I said, seem like good people, kind people.
Thank
You're not just from out of the area being like, oh, you Humboldt County, you guys don't know, da 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 da. It's more like you guys are shaking hands, hugging, and being supportive. Yeah, we're not from here, but we want to build with you here.
Right.
And that, Albert and Height, they both seem really cool. So you definitely got something special going with these cats.
Hey, thanks, man. We just, it's definitely, good things on the horizon for Humboldt County hip hop. Whether it's us moving it forward, the Hip Hop Congress and everything.
Yeah, like next summer, there should just be like when you put it, there should just be crowds of by the time this is keep build up by next summer, when these things are put on these showcase whatever, it should be like lots of people, all varieties of people. I think that will be that way.
Me too.
You just have to stay on it because Humboldt does have this tendency of some things really get, then they kind of drift, and then they get, and they so just keep the gas on, man. And
that's it.
Yeah, dude.
That's what we doing.
Yeah.
Hey, and definitely with fire content like this, I appreciate you, GMG.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for having me, bro.
Absolutely, man. The people in this county is gonna love hearing this, the back end. And this was only, just one. I'm gonna have to have you back for another one.
Dude.
We got to get into more of what the Dirty Rats.
Definitely.
There's so much that the Dirty Rats have been doing over the years that gets lost in every episode just because there's just so much you guys have done. So.
I appreciate you, man. I mean, just in closing, our next album is coming out. It's called Let's Get Dirty.
Yeah.
That's the whole crew on every track for like 13, 14 tracks. It'll be out probably in another couple weeks, a month. Then there's also Ink, the Ill Scene illustrator. He's got a collab album coming with Callus. So those two guys, and most of my beats are on there. I think there might be one beat that's on it. It's not mine. That's done. They've already got the artwork, so that should be out closely after this one.
Oh, man.
Then there's also a Mr. Ocean and Me album coming out that we've just been making songs, and some of them that we just kind of been honing in and holding on to. So that will be coming out soon. It's pretty much done. And so those projects that are coming out, so stay tuned. They'll definitely be on the Spotify, and then please go to bandcamp.com. I think it might be Dirty Rat Records, or it could be Dirty Rats. I should know this better, but I just forget. But either way, you'll see our artwork and stuff. You'll find it. There's so many albums on there that you can listen to for free, download for free. Albums that are older with Franco on them, then albums that are newer without Franco on them, Stir Fry Willie on them, so dig into any of those albums if y'all are interested in the stuff that we made in the early 2000s and stuff.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And again, check out Ink, the Ill Scene illustrator. That dude is dope. Make sure you check his album he dropped last year, because that's fire too.
Yeah, he's got such good content, good feel good music, but also make you think music. Mm-hmm. Smart dude.
Yeah. Hey, GMG, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, bro.
I really appreciate you. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you, dude.
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Hell yeah. You're the man, bro.
Thanks so much, GMG.
Hell yeah.
Take care, brother.
You too, man.
Just different.